Let's officially start it then. So we have Ben, 4 times Gauntlet winner, Awaken a Race winner. We have Waggle, the first to kill Uber series, Oshabi Race winner, and then we have a cat that plays PoE. Should be a good podcast, hopefully. Thankfully, the host doesn't need to be good at the game, so I don't need any credentials. So the first topic that we have is, how do you guys feel about about the balance changes overall, like the entire game, based on the manifesto and patch notes? Let's start with Rue. How do you feel about it from Subco perspective?
I feel like they're okay. There's a few of them that I feel like aren't that really good. I don't think the Divine Blessing changes are really good because I feel like in hardcore, Divine Blessing is most balanced, right? Because you actually need to use life and you actually care about dying. But it's like it hampers that league more than it does anything to softcore, right? Because in softcore, after like 2 days, you're just going to get all these alternate quality gems, mage blood, or whatever, whatever items that reduces mana, and everyone's going to have Divine Blessing again on like day 2 and day 3, right? Well, in like SSF, it's just not going to be accessible. So I feel like that change was kind of garbage.
I feel like it makes me want to
I'm
use
not a huge
EV
fan of that
a
either.
lot, but other than that, it's a little limiting on like top side of the skill tree, I think. How do we feel about the fact they didn't really address like defenses? Their address to defenses is just make suppression harder to obtain, but it's still like equally mandatory.
I actually
Yeah, I think
really
I've
feel
seen
the armor nerf on like topside builds. Like all my witch builds are like 12k armor now instead of like 20k because Defiance banner is way worse. And that's gonna be felt for sure.
You just put on Immortal Flesh and you get all the armor back that you lost from Defiance banner. It's fine.
Yeah, I have no uniques in any PvP. I have no clue how great they're gonna be with the generic change.
I agree with that assessment. I feel like they should have given us more like fizz to LE if they want to reduce that kind of stuff, right? Like they gave us the Gravicious mod, but I feel like maybe like Arctic armor should have been fizz as LE. And like Flesh and Stone should have been suppression. So those things are at least useful for people who need them.
My biggest problem with it all is that not even the suppression stuff, I still feel like I have to get armor, not because like armor is good, which it is, but because there's nothing that competes with Molten Shell.
Yep.
Molten Shell's just too fucked compared to every other guard skill.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't buffed Steel Skin and Immortal Call.
Like Steel Skin's good if you don't have armor. Well, it's kind of good if you don't have armor, but you need strength, and if you have a bunch of strength, you probably have armor.
It's also Val Molten Shell exists, right? And there's no Val versions of the other ones.
Bring back Val Immortal Call, amen.
Dude, Val Immortal Call
The
with
one
like
where you
0.1
can't die
second
when it's
duration
active.
or something like super low, I think it would actually be a cool mechanic. If you like couldn't scale it, like kind of like Focus.
Yeah, like fixed duration, fixed cooldown, and like insane vessel cost. I just hate that like base Immortal Call's mana cost is like completely absurd. Like cast damage taken having a multiplier now means that it's kind of unusable.
Puts it at like 50 mana or something.
Yeah, it's like 50. Increased duration puts it at 70 at level 1. It's like it's just like not really usable on most builds. And if you life tap it, you can do that, but then you're losing 300 life to proc a guard skill, which probably doesn't help you.
I mean, that's another problem with Steel Skin. You cannot use level 1 cast when damage taken, right? Like that kind of just makes it so much worse. You can definitely die without your Steel Skin proccing sometimes.
It's even more annoying on Chieftain because, you want to try to get your 15% damage, but you can't use that shit skill.
I feel like there is some alternatives to like armor endgame, but like the amount of investment you need to put into it for it to be good is just like unreasonable. I mean, now that Cloak and Lightning Call got buffed, it's a little better. Like you can just go Cloak and pretend Determination doesn't exist, but you still want it. That's the weird part, right? It kind of makes Determination better anyways. I don't know. It's endgame you can do like Maven chest, stuff like that. Or like a lot of fizzes taken with like Watcher's Eye and stuff, but I don't know. It feels really hard to replace armor in the current game.
I think it's very likely that at least once this league, I'll play a build with a like coiled Dawnbreaker and a 15% helm and no armor. because it is pretty freeing if you're able to just drop all that stuff and just run damage ores instead. It's kind of good for your dam, but if you don't have every single piece, you can't like league strike that in Self-Found. You have to actually have those items.
You also just set a setup where you don't have suppression on your chest or shield.
Raider. Because you don't need
Trickster?
armor. Or no, dude.
Or Trickster.
Stop. Just stop.
I mean, I think Trickster's good. It's just you have to be CI for it to be actually good. And CI
Yeah.
is just way worse than life right now.
I feel like the worst problem with
Yeah.
Trickster is that the only damage node that you actually can get at the start doesn't actually give you damage, and your whole like gearing and leveling process is just going to be garbage.
The leech node gives you a lot of damage. What are you talking about?
But that's your second node though. Like
Are
when
you
you
talking about
first
like
start.
normal lab?
Yeah, like normal lab. Like there's nothing you get there, right? So it like really narrows down your choices. You have to play really something really, really powerful at the start.
That's fine. I mean, wasn't that basically the case for Necromancer? Even when Necromancer was like the king of the meta, was you basically didn't get hardly anything from normal lab. I don't think that's that big of a deal.
I mean,
You-
yeah,
you
but
got-
you played Arma Crema, right? Which was just like way better than anything else.
And
But
play it on Trickster.
that's true, actually. You get a decent amount of damage on Trickster Arma if you want
Or you
to
just
play
play
them.
lightning spells. Lightning spell leveling is pretty free. Although it takes a while to get to EO as Trickster.
I feel like overall Trickster just kind of underdelivered on... it underdelivered because of the current meta. Like, I don't
Yeah, I
think the
think
nodes
Trickster's
themselves are
fine.
bad, but it's just like, I don't see what build I would want to use it for.
Yeah, the other day on stream, I was gonna make a Trickster build and I just got stun locked for like 3 hours.
Like, you couldn't come up with anything, or...
No, I just couldn't think of like what exactly it was good for and what I wanted to do to make that Trickster build special, right? Everything was just all like generic, right? I can get damage, I can get some defenses, but there's nothing that really stood out, be like, oh, this synergized so well with this ascendancy that, it makes it feel like something really cool.
I like the idea of Hoa, like Hoa Trickster, but it's so endgame, and you will never league start it. And it's probably not that good nowadays either. But like that archetype just makes sense on it.
Could be an interesting one this league in particular, because you can probably get some like 100-something int rings.
Yeah, I think that league mechanic is actually really cool because like last league I did a chieftain build with Sublime Vision, Purity of Fire, and with the Timeless Stroll, right? But that thing has like less lightning res, right? And then you can use that armor that gives you a ton of damage. But now this league, you can kind of get enough minus lightning to to go over that less amount, and then just have like some insane build that doesn't take lightning dot damage and that does giga damage.
I mean, Dorian is prototype chieftain or something.
What
But,
happened?
what would you play? Like lightning strike or?
You could play any lightning skill with that combo, right? And it doesn't even have to be a chieftain. You could play it on Zerker.
At that
if you
point
have
of
Forbidden Tools.
investment, you'd probably just maybe you get the chieftain node from Jules, or you can probably get to 100 fizz as like fire without chieftain now, right?
No, it's not about fizz as fire. You want lightning as fire, right? So you don't take the dot damage from the negative like 100 lightning res that you have, because
I
Dawnbreaker
guess
is
you don't need
not.
specifically 100 fizz as fire. You just want a decent amount, right?
Yeah,
Because
but
you go
lightning as
transcendence
fire.
with that, right?
No, you don't. You're just like you just use Sublime Vision. So 30% of like cold and lightning becomes fire, and Dawnbreaker is 20% cold and lightning becomes fire. And then the jewel, right, is 50% cold and lightning becomes fire, right? All damage, or all of those damage types. So like before it was super, super hard to get all of that minus lightning res, right? Because the timeless jewel has a less multiplier. And if you have negative and it's less, it actually goes up,
Yeah.
right? So now with this league mechanic, you can actually get giga damage from that setup and just basically plow through content, I think.
It's
I
basically
think
I know
like
Archers are
yesterday
going to
that
cost a lot.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think they were decently pricey this league, and that's like pre-divine apocalypse, and the demand might go up and everything.
I think the Sublime Vision itself was like 50x or something, like the Purity of Fire one. In
It was
software.
1 when I bought mine.
It's a
Yeah,
shame
went
we're
up
only
later.
getting one of the new uniques. I was really hoping for more of those to have better incentive to farm the Ubers.
Same fucking SSF hardcore racers, dude. Can't even make their uniques.
Chris
Sorry.
calling out streamers are too lazy to talk with the devs to make their items. What are you guys doing?
Yep.
God damn.
You're still missing 2 uniques, right, Ben?
Yep. I'm missing 2. Unfortunate. Unlucky.
And a div card.
All right, D. Just pile it all on. All right. Let's just keep
It's
on coming.
It's fine. We need
I
like
Although-
10
haven't
div
done a
cards for
div
divine
card either. I
orbs.
have no idea.
I'm just doing Divine Orb for the div card because there's like none of those things. If we can add like 10 Divine Orb div cards to the game, one of them has to be good, right?
Yeah, I was thinking Grand Spectrum card if these new Grand Spectrums are good.
Speaking
Your
of those
minimum
grand
charges.
spectrums, do you guys think that we are getting 4 more, right? Obviously we get frenzy and power charges. Do you guys think that the last 2 are gonna be more minion stats or just like random stuff?
I think they're going to
I
be minion
hope they're
stats.
not.
I really
They're
hope it's not
probably
like
going to be minion stuff, aren't
minion
they?
speed, minion life. It would be pretty lame, but I don't think it would even get used. Maybe on like
Alright, I'm
Maul.
not making a card for it if there's 3 minion jewels. Never mind.
Did you used to love playing zombies, Waggle?
No. I've played one minion build ever, and it was because I let my chat vote on a build for me to play, and they made me play Carrying Golem.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are
I
gonna be
remember
good.
that.
I think golem builds are the one thing that's actually gonna be good next patch from minions, because clay shapers look insane. I don't know if you guys like.
Yeah,
care
Clay
about
Shaper
minions
was
at all.
already good. I don't remember what they did to it. I was like surprised that I saw that they buffed it because people were. I mean, I don't think Golem builds have been popular for a while, but when they were, Clay Shaper was like already a really good item.
It adds like 130 fists now and +1 golem still. So like 130 fists to minions.
Are any of you guys going to play minions this league?
No.
Probably not. Let's be real.
Probably not.
If the items are really good, it's possible, but there's no chance I'd even consider starting it until we know what like the mod pool is and everything.
Yeah, I don't play them either.
I also feel like minions suffer with the defense nerfs a lot. Like, how are you gonna cap suppression? How are you gonna get enough armor? At least for like hardcore builds, right? Like, I just don't see it.
Yeah,
Last
like
time I
every
played-
single.
Go ahead.
I think that's going to be the case for a lot of left side builds, capping suppression, right? I did a lot of left side POBs, and they're all really, really bad. You're going to have to either path through like Sentinel and get to Magebane, or you're going to have to go, I don't know, onto the bottom if you're duelist. Like every build has to go right now.
I mean, pretty much.
Assuming you wear like Vertex helmet, I think you have to get what perfect rolls on every other slot with suppression, and anoint the suppression inveterate to
I feel like
cap
pretty
out.
much every build just has to travel either Magebane or whatever it's called, or the suppression nodes next to Written in Blood, right? So
I
painful.
really don't like the suppression change. I think that's the worst change of the league. They're really just screwing over left side builds a lot. That's why I said earlier, they should have given like Flesh and Stone at least like some suppression, so you can have at least like some way of getting it through mana or another means, right? Right now it's just horrid. It's just travel nodes all the way.
What I've seen a
Actually-
lot of people suggest was instead of lowering the amount of
Yeah.
suppression like chance we get, they should have lowered the amount that it's suppressed by default and put that on the tree.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that would be so much better solution. Like, even if suppression was like easier to get, but let's say you suppress like 25 or 30% and then you have to invest into it, it would be good. But like, this just feels so like it didn't solve anything. It just made the left side builds like way more painful to play. And then like they introduced a bunch of good uniques that you would consider using, and then you realize they don't have suppression and you don't want to use them anymore.
Yeah, the changes would be fine if there was like a left side alternative that like you could if you're right side, you go suppression. If you're left side, you go some other thing.
Do you think reverting
just isn't.
glancing would be good enough? To
You say
50%
res?
It'd
instead
be
of
a
65?
start.
I feel like it would be at least a decent start to like, oh, I don't have to go suppression. I can at least go glancing and feel okay. At least for mapping, right? For bossing, it would probably not solve it.
Yeah.
I've always wanted glancing to go to 100% and just not work with the like recovery on block.
That's
But
what
it
that was the
breaks
thing
the
with
game.
glancing. Right? Was
Was
the
it?
problem with glancing was that on block, using it with stuff on block was like the abuse case. And instead of nerfing it with on block, they just nerfed it for everybody. So like any build that wasn't on block and was using glancing just got super nerfed randomly for no reason.
I feel like I think there are two options. Either you cap block at 75 and you make glancing 50%, or 55, or you leave it as it is, but you allow block to beat scale 200. Like you still would need to invest
like
quite a bit
specifically
into
with
block.
glancing, right?
Yeah, glancing would like increase your max block chance, but it would still be difficult to like get there. You would probably need to nerf stuff like ages, but like I think I would take that trade any day.
And I mean that at that point that is pretty close to a suppression alternative, right?
Yeah. It's just that these Uber bosses all have so many penetration abilities that it makes max res just totally garbage, right? So
Yeah.
That's why you convert your damage taken.
Just do a full conversion circle for that.
I mean, like a lot of people don't use the timeless jewel right now that converts 50% to chaos, right? And it's like really, really good for a lot of the
It's actually good specifically for Ubers, yeah. So is the taken as fire one for anything that's not fire pen.
I feel like tempered by war got
That
better
thing
by
on
never
jug
melding.
is so nuts. Tempered by that's one, yeah. That with the new jug is actually insane.
If you guys run the number for the new jug, like I ran the numbers, and even at like 50k, 100k armor, it was already like insanely strong. If you can still get suppression.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
If you
I expected it to
I've
be
seen some
whatever.
builds. I've seen some builds. It's powerful.
When you say you saw some builds, you mean like 500k armor, or like even at lower values?
I mean, I've seen lower, but I've also seen like 1 million armor jugs where you just can't die.
Yeah, it's just degens, right?
I POP'd those 500k armor builds. The problem is like you just can't get enough damage to make them like worthwhile to play.
That's why you go to 1 million. And then you get infinite damage because now you're an armor stacker.
I mean, what do you play with it? Just like Replica Dream Feather or something else?
Feather.
I mean, you don't really have other options, huh?
Yeah, you don't really have any other options. Just Replica
When you go
Dream
that
Feather.
high, I think otherwise you would go like 100, 200k armor and then just play a traditional something for damage.
What do you guys think of a mechanic in PoE where if you take damage, you gain more damage? Like WoW players probably know it, but would that be something Jack could have and it not be like super game breaking? Like taking damage would make you deal increased damage or something.
If it worked with self-hit, it'd probably be pretty unbalanceable. But if
I
it only worked with like actual
damage from enemies,
yeah, I think it could be cool, and it'd be a pretty fun play style, like scared on the edge of death to not die but get the most damage possible from taking things.
Oh, it'd be so sick for padding POBs. Oh my god, you could clickbait so hard with it.
Isn't Adrenaline sort of that mechanic? Just take
Adrenaline's like the
get...
budget version of it.
Yeah, and no one like really wants to activate Adrenaline when they play hardcore, right?
I feel like we use it on the fights where we are confident.
The reason you don't want it to you don't want to have it just randomly go off those because it has defense value. If this like proposed a jug thing is only offense value, you'd be more inclined to and if it's like not some specific threshold, if it's just anytime you take, amounts of damage, because you just don't want to go to half HP.
I feel like my problem with Jack is just I don't see how you build. Like for hardcore, it's not that big of a problem, but for softcore, like I don't really see how you build damage to make that build feel good until like extreme investment, which might be fine, honestly. Like maybe that class is just not a good starter.
Not if you want high damage, no.
You guys have been doing a lot of POBs. The more POBs I've been doing, the more that I think the new uniques are really, really good. And all of these builds are just going to have broken damage in like 2 days.
Must
Yeah,
be
I
nice to have
was
uniques.
I was looking at the uniques, right? And like some uniques just like literally make the build by default. It's insane. But I don't want to plan around them in SSF, so I might just start hardcore trade. Speaking of uniques, like if you guys were to name like 2-3 uniques, which ones do you guys think are like the like caught your eye the most? I guess let's start with Waggle.
Which ones are what?
Like which one caught your eye the most, or like which one do you want to use in a build?
I mean, I definitely zoned in on Thunderfist because of the new lightning skills specifically. Like I think with Inquisitor, there's probably going to be a lot there. It's just I don't know how you get suppression. And then aside from that one, I mean, the sword, the ES sword, I forget the name of it, Ephemeral Edge. There's probably something there. I haven't bothered like looking at POB, but just it's a mechanic that scales damage with defense, so it's probably going to be busted somewhere eventually.
It's basically the same as the what's the skill called? Energy Blade, but
Yeah,
without
it's
the
Energy
downside.
Blade without the downside practically, but it's like a slower sword. I think Energy Blade's 1.7 attack speed.
Problem I
Mhm.
think with Thunderfist is like the new lightning skills are super hard to play with, except with like Elementalists at the start, right? Because you need so much shock value. And I don't know, not playing with exposure on gloves is just, it feels like a nightmare.
I mean, if you played it on Inquisitor, you could even take the ignore res. You don't need exposure. And like, I mean, by the time you got those, I feel like you'd probably be pushing the like 100% crit chance at that point.
I feel like the best
Yep.
usage for Thunderfist is when you have 2 setups, right? Like one in your chest, one in your gloves, or just like a budget 6 thing early on. I'm not sure if you would want to like use them end game and just not really use a 6 thing in your chest.
No, it'd be for conduit, lightning conduit, for whatever your second skill is that you're using to shock, and maybe you use it to clear. Like you could put like arc in those and just clear with arc, and then swap it out for Stormbrand. For like Stormbrand conduit bossing.
I feel like Lightning Conduit has like a lot of potential if it's mechanically good, but it's hard to tell from the preview that we got whether it's gonna be good or not with like Orb Storm interaction and stuff. I assume it's gonna be fine.
I mean, worst case scenario, it's gonna work with Stormbrand if it doesn't work well with Orb of Storms.
Yep.
Yeah, I did definitely think it's gonna be good. Although, like the first version I made was like a non-crit Elementalist, and it like caps out at, like 3.5 multi DPS. But I assume the Inquisitor version's probably gonna be good. Like Inquisitor just looks top tier right now, with like EB Mom and still gets Divine Blessing and ignores Archnem bullshit with the pen node.
Problem with Inquisitor is like you have to generate so much damage, right, on Uber bosses to get like over 50%
Yeah,
shock.
that's the thing I was a little bit worried about.
Quantric linked to POV where it was like I think he had 55%, I think, and that was my main concern as well. Like you have to hit really hard. Their thresholds are just absurdly high.
Problem is you're not hitting that hard with Stormbrand, right? So like what skill are you using for that?
I have no idea. I'll figure that out
Orb of
once I start
Storms
working
hits
on that
harder
pub.
than Stormbrand, I think. I don't remember. I looked. I'm pretty sure Orb of Storms does more than Stormbrand.
Does Stormcall hit hard? Shock Nova? Like maybe something
Yeah,
like
but you don't want any of that. Like, you have to
yeah,
alternate
I
your
understand.
casts. It basically has to be like Orb of Storms or Stormbrand.
You could Arcanist brand as well, like, and then have 2 brands with a bigger skill.
Yeah, but that would be too slow because of the cast speed reduction, right?
Well, if you have two
And
of
you
them,
have
Yeah,
you take Rune Binder.
if you have 2, it should work out as long as you like have them like desynced.
Did you guys figure mana out on that build? Like you have like 5 times, like 5 casts per second, and it's like 80 mana or something.
What I
It
did
costs a
was
ton.
I went EB and I put the 150 energy shield regeneration on my belt. So I could just constantly cast on uniques and rares, and on maps I shouldn't be casting that much, right? That's what I did on my POB to fix that issue.
Actually, a decent solution. Didn't think of that. You ban any uniques that caught your eye. I know you don't like to
Sunblast.
POB with them, but Sunblast.
Dude, Sunblast is so broken.
It
been
has
a
to not
bait
be
me,
Ice
dude.
Trap though, right? There has to be
Of course
something
not.
better.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it has to be Spark or Lightning
Yeah.
Trap.
Spark
Yeah, I think
is really
Spark.
good. It needs to be something that doesn't clear like just in proximity of the trap. It needs to have some range on it. But like,
Hey, we have like a platform here. Can I just take a second to I was told GGG was aware of the fucking lightning trap bug at the start of last league and it still isn't fixed. Fix the alt quality, please, so I can play an OP lightning trap character.
Are we complaining? I would like to
Yeah.
complain if we were complaining.
Yeah.
I made a Ignite Vortex build that used Frostferno, and GGG removed it from the game. And I've been playing Corrupting Fever for the past like 3 leagues, and there was a Pride bug that wasn't affected by Aura effect. So GGG
Oh, I know the
is
solution
literally...
for Vortex, by the way. I solved it last night. So, was it Elementalist? You played Elementalist?
Yeah, I just played
All right, so
Elementalist.
you need Forbidden Flesh for the Occultist Freeze node, where every 4 seconds you freeze nearby chilled enemies. And you cast your Vortex when you freeze the boss, and you get 130% fire or coldest fire.
Waggle, do you think
Infinite
I'm
damage.
do you think I'm good enough to do that?
Yeah, you have Vortex. It's instant cast. You have 0.6 seconds. Actually, it might be higher. I think you might be able to scale that duration. I don't remember.
You got it on left click. Just like hope it procs at the correct time. It's fine.
don't bosses have
It's free
like
damage.
freeze DR?
Well, they just don't get fully slowed, but they still get frozen.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like a 30% chill effectively when you freeze them.
I thought they had the same thing as a stun, where it's like when the stun ends, they're fully immune for 4 seconds. But I guess only stun has those immunity problems, huh, Karn?
Poor Karn. He's been complaining since the patch notes. I actually missed that patch note completely. The whole Arch
That's
Nemesis
another
thing.
problem with CI. Like Trickster builds is stun. There's not a good way to deal with it because Trickster doesn't have built-in stun immunity anymore.
You can get like 50% on the tree for like 4 points.
Yeah.
And then like jewels for the rest. But it's an investment
feels
that you
bad.
didn't need to do before, right?
Because old Trickster had you were immune when you had Ghost Shrouds, and it was like that was good enough. And sometimes they would drop and you'd get stunned and it didn't feel good, but it was like actually good enough, and now it just doesn't have anything.
I've seen a certain person die to that in Gauntlet to Maven at 5%. When they realized that the beam hits like infinite times per second and they just got perma-stunned in the beam.
What the like final phase?
Yeah, like
Or,
literally
like, there's those
5% in
spinning
last
beams?
phase. That was an
Unlucky.
interesting clip to watch. But yeah, like other than that, I feel like Ghost Shroud was pretty consistent at mitigating stunts.
How does EB work with that? Because like you have 50% avoid stun with ES. Do you still have that with EB? Might never matter, or is it gone?
I don't know.
I'm
the
pretty sure
answer to
you
that
still have
question.
it. I think you might still have it even if you don't have MOM.
I've never specifically like read anything that says you wouldn't have the stun reduction if you use EB. So I'm gonna assume what Waggle said is true.
It literally says while the character has any energy shield remaining, the character has a 50% chance to ignore being stunned. So I don't think it matters where your ES is, which is pretty fucking good.
The only thing is that
That's
that's
not-
not additive with other stun avoidance.
Yeah, it just it helps somewhat in the early game on Inquisitor. Otherwise, you're gonna be getting stunned by every single ability.
Apparently I lied. Eldritch Battery also causes energy shield to no longer grant a chance to avoid stun, according to Wiki.
Oh,
Unlucky,
We
dude.
lost.
We actually
we lost. They
Although
knew.
a lot of my builds have been playing avoid ailments now instead of like Tempest Shield and stuff. And top right gets like Arcane Sanctuary, and then if you go Chestcraft, you're already like halfway there. And they're definitely still gonna have Dual Impulses in the game right from Harvest, and that'll be simple.
How do we
Dude,
feel
honestly-
about New Harvest, speaking of that?
Yeah, knowing what we're gonna have available from New Harvest could have such an effect on which builds are good to start with. Like
Just
which
lock it
crafts
on
are
standard,
still in.
Okay, I saw
I
we have
guess
more
you
likely,
could.
okay, so we still will have suppression. That's a good start. It might be
I'm
expensive,
gonna
but we can get it.
be really, really mad if one reforge takes 50 and we drop 15 per patch. And you have to do a whole entire harvest to reforge an item one time. I hope the numbers aren't what they show.
I mean, they showed
of the
one
things they showed
drop
was
like 70
180.
something, right? Or it was like 2 stacks of 70.
Yeah.
They showed a decent amount, and they said it scales with actually juicing the maps up now. So it sounds like the system is way better overall. It's probably gonna feel pretty bad for a lot of things because it's like it's definitely a nerf overall to crafting power, right? There's no way that it's not. But like mechanically, I think it's a better system.
Yep.
I feel like
They
it's
can
gonna feel
always
really
buff those
good
numbers.
on first character when you are like farming for a second character, but you don't know what you are playing, and you can just store up, and then you craft everything at once. That part is gonna feel really good, I think.
And just not needing to have like a literal quad tab full of random bases for any given harvest that might show up. I hated doing that. I hated having to collect a million different things.
I think we're gonna be like forced into like essences or raw or something. There's no way you can ever spend life force on like reforging because you're just losing more likelies if you do that. For purple, you're losing like keep suffix on blue. It's just you can't really ever do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you just have to spec essence now.
I'm really scared when they said they removed a lot of. I don't know what the exact wording Chris used, but they said they removed some mods or like unusable mods or like whatever he said. I'm scared they removed a lot of good stuff from Harvest.
Oh, they did. They definitely did.
What do you think they removed?
Well, the term he used was deterministic, and there's one craft that I think is gone. It was really good and not very used very often. It was like the sacrifice weapon for amulet, which gave like guaranteed +1 dot multi amulets. And I think that one's probably gone. All of the like the generic currency conversions are probably gone.
If
I
they
wonder
remove the sacrifice. If they remove sac amulet, I'm going to be really, really sad. I know a lot of +1 and dot amulets they're so hard to make, right? Without that sacrifice, it's just, man.
Yeah, and they're pretty powerful. That's probably the exact kind of thing they don't like about Harvest is things like that, where it's like items that are super insanely good, like guaranteed 3 mod, multi-moddable +1 dot is like absurd, and it's just free. So they're probably gonna take the hammer to that.
That amulet is also insane with Lake of Kalandra. You have like 33% chance to get +2 60 dot multi if you just sacrifice a free mod amulet.
Yeah,
It's like
that
so
shit's
dumb.
gone.
Please. Let us have our fun.
I really wonder how Kalandra's gonna work with like mods like multi-mod. Does that count as the pool for possibly getting doubled?
Yeah, it's gonna say can have up to 6, but it's gonna be mirrored, so it won't do anything. What do we
Yeah, I
think
think it's gonna
about
get double too.
like Chrome crafts and like swap resist crafts, like this like quality of life? Do we think that will remain?
Res swaps 100% stay, right? There's no way they're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they get rid of res swaps. I don't think they get rid of. They could
Chat
make
said
the
they were in the
chrome
picture.
crafts a lot more expensive, like relative to how common they were, because like they're kind of busted for like if you compare them to actually chroming items or crafting bench chroming items. Yeah, the white socket one's probably gone.
What about 5-link, 6-link crafts? I think 5-link stays, 6-link. It's either gonna be like ridiculously expensive or gone. Maybe?
I think they're both gone.
I think they're gone. They'll keep the one that's like fused 10 times, keeping best outcome.
Now they delete that for Leo, right? It's Leo now on research.
Oh, right, it is Leo now, yeah.
I don't think that's really going to affect it much, right? Since all your divine orbs are going to become 20 fuses now, you're just going to have so many, like just vendoring cabulas and stuff like that, and like corrupted 6-links.
And Scourge currency's back. It's totally going to be free 6-links again, right?
Adjusted.
Adjusted.
I'm sad they
Oh, yeah,
adjusted Mythic Orbs too.
The term Chris used were filler crafts. I don't know what filler crafts means, but I'm gonna assume a lot of good shit got deleted.
I mean, to me, filler crafts were the ones that they showed in the teaser. Like all of the Reforged more commons are gone, and now they're just like Reforged Life 1 mod. So like fossils are actually way better now for
No,
getting
they
like.
just didn't show them yet. They had to scroll down. You just couldn't see them. It's
I
fine.
don't know about that because
It's fine.
we saw Reforged more likely at 300, and I wouldn't pay more than 300 for that.
Which
likely.
side of the war are you on when it comes to harvest, rare, divines?
They're all gone.
That's what I said, and can't call us so stupid. You think they're gonna stay?
Yeah.
If
you guys
Harvest
going cheddar.
Divines are gone, that's actually gonna feel so bad.
I feel like they shouldn't be gone and just work on the rares only, but I think they will be gone.
They already work on rares
Yeah.
only. That's the thing. I mean, they could just make them not lucky divines. Like,
Or just
you need some way to divine rares that isn't a divine orb with
No.
I
the
agree.
changes they're doing.
like otherwise you are literally only divining items before you start mirroring them. Otherwise you will just not be divining rares for the most part, right?
It curses so many builds if you can't like freely kind of divine your rares, because like obviously suppression's a big thing. Anything where you're trying to balance like stats is gonna be just super screwed.
I just imagine this like I roll 12 suppression tier 1 on my item and I just roll over because I need 14.
Yeah.
Like that sounds awful.
Very awful.
And I like it wouldn't even surprise. Like I expect them to be gone. That's like the worst part about it. Like I don't think they should be, but I don't think they will stay. Someone brought up an interesting point. What do you guys think about div card gambas? Because they cannot be used in hideout, but I guess you can. There's still gonna be crafting bench and sacred grove. Maybe I don't know if they showed it in the map.
I thought they said they fixed the hideout stuff, so like you can use everything in hideout now.
Okay. I hope they keep div card gambas because in
Same.
SSF you just cannot complete some sets, and being able to gamble for them is really good.
Yep.
I don't know. The harvest changes, I think, are gonna feel good gameplay wise, but they're gonna feel really bad, like power level wise. That's how I look at it right now. Like we're gonna be a lot weaker, but maybe it's better because it will make essences and fossils an option now instead of it being like a path of harvest.
I just wish they buffed delve. Like, I really enjoy fossil crafting, but if I want to do that, I don't delve for that. Like delving for fossils is trolling.
You delve for resonators.
I just get that from the map node for sulfite, where it converts it into azurite, and then you just buy them from the guy.
You just buy it.
Yep, it's actually so good. Like you don't
It's
ever have
good
to
if
enter
you're doing
delve.
one socket resonators.
Yeah.
If you're doing like 3 sockets, they're so much more expensive.
Do you think fossil conversions are still going to be there? And harvest? And like catalysts?
In essences, I did think they might be, but you're not gonna be able to justify using it.
Because they're purple, but like map fragments are for sure still going to be there. But one of the only ways that I use fossils right now is converting them to pristines and then one socketing on belts for life percent life, and it's like really really good for that.
Yeah, I think they should keep those, but I feel like it kinda for them it's a filler craft in their eyes.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really give you anything new, it just like converts one catalyst to something else. I don't think they will keep them. Do you guys think Reforge keeping prefixes, suffixes is staying? I think it could stay, but it would be the Oshabe essence for sure.
Really? I think it's going to stay and not cost that, but it's only going to be on blue, not on purple. Because like them adding Eldritch Chaos to the game means they like that kind of crafting, right? So like I think it's going to stay, but just be like really expensive, like 3,000-4,000 or something.
I would love that though. Like if you can just farm for it and you know you can get it, that would be so nice.
What I thought was they're making Oshabi essence drop from Oshabi, and Oshabi only drops from T4 monsters. I thought that essence was only going to be like T4 mods, and everything else was going to be normal mods. That made more sense to me.
They've already said you have to have that for the like Ogfire, which is a T1 craft, but it's like a super rare T1 craft that pretty much doesn't even exist.
Oh yeah. That I can understand.
Did they said apparently they said that it's gonna be both like remove non-fire, add fire, and then like remove a mod, add fire. I don't know if that's true. Like I don't know if you're gonna get 2 different crafts, or if it's just gonna be one of those. I'm not sure. But like I've heard both from like the Q&A. At least that's what people understood. I don't know if you guys like listened to it carefully.
My
Yeah, that's what
interpretation
I-
was just removes a random mod like Ashling does, like no tags.
Yeah,
That
that's
would
like
be
what they're replacing the Augs with.
pretty
Is
annoying.
essentially an Ashling style remove and then do the Aug.
How do you guys feel about Ashling? I despise it personally.
I only ever use it on like boots and chest when for the 50-50, right?
I'm
Otherwise,
using rings now as well a lot because I don't think you can ever afford 2 divines to like protect suffixes. You just gamble.
Uh,
man, I really dislike farming it, honestly. Like the whole like resetting your board after Katarina just feels pretty awful.
Yeah, and then you make like one mistake, one wrong choice, and you lose 4 missions because you shouldn't have executed and you did. It feels tragic, but it's still gonna be like one of the most powerful ways of crafting gear because of how strong guaranteed veiled life is on jewelry.
Speaking of divines, that's a huge change to the game, right? I personally think they should have split them, like the crafts, between like 2 exalts for like key prefix or prefixes can't change, and then 2 divines for suffixes can't change, and then 1 divine for like cannot roll attack mods, and 1 divine for cannot roll casters. So it becomes more balanced. How do you guys feel about the divine changes?
It's awful from SSF perspective, and it's probably awful from trade perspective as well. The one thing that it does well is give value to uniques. I think that part is really cool, and that's why I think that like if we kept Harvest Divine Rare, it would be kind of fine. If we don't keep that, then I think the change is gonna have like some like really bad impacts where everything is just gonna feel bad because you will never divine it, and you're gonna run around with like minerals.
I think it's probably a bigger nerf to player power than the harvest nerfs are in terms of like just average gear level. Like metacrafting was the final step to pretty much every single item slot, and
Especially in this
now
league.
in self-found, you're just not really gonna have enough access to that to commit that many resources to it for one character.
If it's like as big of a nerf to meta crafting access as it sounds like it's gonna be, it's gonna feel real bad for trying to like even come close to min maxing any character after how many exalts this league was dropping.
I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like if you think about it, in SSF, if you ignore vendoring 6 links, or like even trade league, how many exalts do you think you get per divine? I feel like you get like 3 to 4 exalts per divine with like exalt charts everywhere, exalt diff cards. I feel like exalts even drop more from league mechanics than divines do. I feel like it's gonna be really bad to get a multi-mod.
I didn't notice them dropping more. Okay, but I burned through so many divines on Jules this patch. But like Sentinel's OP for that, and everyone knows that. I don't know how to farm divines. Like I truly have no idea like where I even start.
I mean, it's just
Villa.
Villa boss rushing. Let's be real.
Villa map, baby.
I mean, that map is good, but
what
not like
sucks is
amazing.
it's a boss drop card, so you can't even juice the map to increase the drop rate.
Yeah, but that means like you can boss rush quite easily, right?
Yeah,
And then like
'cause that's
I don't know what
Villa
tier
kind of
it's gonna
sucks
be.
for boss rushing though.
It's fine if you look for harvest and like rogue stashes on the way or something, like whatever like mechanics you need to like explore
You
the
can
full
hardly
map.
miss them because you almost have to full
Yeah,
explore the map to get to the boss.
but that's not that big of a problem, right? Because you can't really just boss rush, and at least like if you want to try to sustain maps a little bit, you still need to like clear.
Have
Yeah,
any of you ever
surely they
done
won't
trinket
nerf the
farming?
heist trinket.
Well, they already said they're nerfing it to the same value as the exalts, which I believe is
How did
4%.
they?
Have any of you ever like done that grind? And like, is that actually real?
I've been told that the
I
like
mean,
exalt
I
trinket
know
is
people-
real, like very real. People pay like 15-20x for it.
Okay.
I haven't been into
And
Rogue
Heist
Harbor
League is
since
massive.
Heist League.
I wish I could do
About-
that, but
I vowed to never go back because I refuse to support shit content, and I've never gone back. Not a step.
I mean, we don't have to go there even in SSF anymore thanks to the diff cards now, right? Hopefully they don't drop in heist.
I mean, I don't know. If I want divine orbs, I'm going wherever it's best. I have no principles. I want power.
Can we talk about div cards like the those heist ones where it's like div card to get a target farmable solution to something that was already target farmable.
Are you
I
referring
don't
to
think those need to exist. Like those kind of
lenses?
cards.
Or what?
Like what was the two? There was like two heist ones. There was or was it one? The like orb, the quality orbs. Like you can already target farm those by farming the blueprints, and it
Or for,
completely devalues that content.
I think that was the
I think
purpose.
that I think that content was super overvalued. Like alt quality gems in Trade League were so expensive, right? That
Yeah, and it
and
gives
at
people a good avenue to farm currency because it's something that not everybody wants to do, and so these random div cards just show up and might just completely ruin it.
I agree with you from a balance perspective. I don't agree with you from a player perspective. I'm so glad I don't have to heist for it. But I agree with you that it doesn't really make sense. Same way, like boss div cards don't really make sense.
the only thing about the
Yeah, boss drop unique div cards actually suck. Those ones are the worst.
expedition
Even if
still
nobody finishes them.
drops and gives a lot of divine orbs, right? I feel like that content actually is pretty good.
From
I know
Tujin?
Tujin doesn't. He doesn't give you shit.
Tujin gives you way more exalts than divines, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
I did a bunch of Tujin this league, and I think I got like 45x, and I maybe got like 10 divine orbs, maybe.
Is that because of shards, or because he like just has different rates?
Even if you didn't count the shards, it probably would have been like 30x.
I feel like I've never seen a stack of divines on Tujin, but I've seen stacks of
Same.
exalts.
Really? Maybe my RNG in the game is just so bad, and I always get divine orbs.
I can't remember if he had stacks of divines ever or not.
I've seen them. I'm pretty sure, but they were priced so high that you just never bought them. So like, I think you just trained yourself to ignore them. Kind
Yeah,
of.
that was the thing. I was running out of the top currency, so I wasn't using it on anything besides exalts.
But there aren't really that many ways to farm them. So, man, I really wish they changed that before league starts.
I think this divine exalt thing is gonna be a problem, like real big problem. I think divines are gonna be like 400C and people are gonna mold really hard. Like you base, and I don't think this is not like, I think GGG is happy about this, but like multi-mode is gonna be like 800,000C, but I don't think GG minds that at all. That's a problem. But I think players will hate it.
Friction.
Do you think they'll hit 600? Go past the trade window size?
I mean, then you start trading chaos for exalts and then exalts into divines, and people will lose their mind, right?
I don't think they'll go that high.
I think they might.
What's the
just
highest
because
exalts have hit in softcore?
Sorry, what was the
Like,
question?
What's the highest like in chaos that exalts have hit?
I've seen
Like
220. I
220.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
the thing with
I
divines
mean,
though
it
is
could get 300. Yeah.
like divines are the final step for multiple avenues of the game now. Like no one ever used exalts, but using divines is what you're gonna do if you're rich to get the best shit. You have to, and it's also the best way to craft gear with meta mods. And that overlap, and on top of no access, means like the sky's the limit on those things. Honestly,
Also, like, what do you
Yeah.
do when you drop like a 1525 ashes? Like, do you just look at it very sad? Do you spend like
3 to
5
1.
divines, like 3 to 1 ashes, 3 to 1
Yeah.
mage bloods? Like, what do you do?
3, all right, not
Either
mage
one
bloods,
blood.
not mage bloods, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone threw 3 to 1s in ashes this league.
That's such an SSF thing to say, I think.
I'm ready this league to turn in my Mage Blood cards and get 2 flasks, and then click divine orbs like 45 times to get 4, and just have my chat laugh at me nonstop, because I know that's going to happen already, and I'm going to be so pissed.
I cannot wait for Legion Jewels. I think I would rather refarm than use the divine.
Yeah, it's the faster to refarm. I did Legion farm this league for challenges. If you full invest into it, also isn't it on map device this league? Like you get an
16.
absurd amount of jewels. I'm pretty sure you could farm like 30 jewels a day if you had like scarabs and map device and chaos orbs.
Yeah, probably. And I mean, you can 3 to 1 those too, right?
I don't actually know if you can. I've never tried. Like certain things you can't, certain weird uniques that you can't, like water slide and stuff. I'm gonna log
Apparently
in
you
and check.
can free to run them. The Legion trolls people are agreeing to that.
Yeah, I can just trust chat, I guess. Chat's never wrong.
What if, I'm saying in best case scenario, you can just try to craft prefixes or suffixes on an item, and exalts become so cheap that you could just freely slam and then use like keep suffix and keep prefix because they're so cheap from harvest, and you could just craft your items that way.
I
That's
think
the goal.
GG
Maybe-
would love that. Like Chris would love that. If he saw that, he would be so happy.
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
not that unlikely that that'll happen to at least some degree.
I think it depends a lot on the harvest. Like if it's Oshabikos, then it's gonna be a lot different than when it's like relatively obtainable, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but then the close your eyes memes is gonna go everywhere.
How do you guys feel about like harpies? It's like in SSF it's fine because you still need annuls. Like in Trail League, like they lost like all the value. It already wasn't like amazing. Like all this stuff that was like the reward was Exalt shards. Like those rewards are just gone. Like the Exalt shard
I mean,
recipe is
ancient
such a
orb
meme.
value probably goes up because there's more good uniques.
That
If
might be
if
true actually.
the reworked ones are rare and stuff.
Yeah, ancient orbs.
Like
yeah.
ancient orbing belts probably gains value again because of something like, unless Sunblast is just randomly still super common for some fucking reason.
I mean,
Sunblast is
there's
gonna
more
be
than
more
just
expensive than
Sunblast,
Headhunter.
right? Like
Well, I'm
Covenant
thinking like
is like
specifically new ones. Like, well, yeah, like Covenant's really good.
Ming's Heart is really good for softcore players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I
Dude,
will.
that
I mean,
thing
I'm
is
I
sure
will
you
get
can find a
baited.
hardcore setup for it too, honestly. Like, you just spec an extra life wheel on your tree and put Ming's Heart on. Like, you're gaining damage for sure.
So-
Dude, I
Yep.
just stole Ben's Reap build and I put on 2 Ming's Heart and then I called
What?
it my build.
That's my build, dude. How much damage is that level 29 out of chaos? I haven't actually like looked at that.
It's
It's
for
like
spells it's
5
not that good. For attack builds it's really insane.
Yeah, it's like 590 or something. Top end.
For my
It's
seismic,
absolutely insane.
it was like
That's
30-40%. When I put it on Poison Helix, it was plus 200%. Literally 3 times the damage. It's so damn
590,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Huh.
insane.
like it legit. If you put it on Poison Helix, it triples your damage straight up. Same for like Venom, like any skill that's like fist to Chaos Poison without like flat
Yeah.
damage. It's just triple damage for no reason.
That's pretty
Yep.
absurd.
It's
It's gonna
basically
have-
Thunder Fist on a 6 link.
And it's probably OP for like minions too, but I don't understand minions enough to know.
I think minions usually have really high base damage and their scaling with extra like flat isn't like insane.
No, they have like really high values. They have like 300% effect of.
Is that
I think
high
it
though?
depends on the minion. Like, I think something like Skeletons gets a lot of flat scaling.
They
I
had the
remember-
line removed this patch.
I
where it
remember
was like 50% extra.
people used to use like flat damage on Abyss Jewels on like SRS and whatnot. And I think Skellies too, and that got buffed too. So I think you will definitely like want to scale more damage on. Also, animate weapon scales really well with flat, but that feels so clunky to play whenever I watched it.
What do you guys think about the boots, Relicicious and Patience? I think they're absolutely insane in so many different ways. There's like so many uses for them. There's so many item combos for them.
Yeah, you put them on and then you take them off.
I
No,
think
I was
they're
talking to you.
absolutely dumb for like inner conviction, assassin, power charge stacking with
Yeah,
patch. It's gonna be like everyone doing that in SC. There's no
yeah,
way you
like,
don't.
and it's so good because like everybody thinks Tollfall and Malachi's Loop are junk items, and they're equivalent to like 5 mod like T1 5 T1 like weapons now, where you
Who's
just
making the
slap them on.
discharge build where you just stand still with your inventory open and spam click your boot slot and hit discharge?
I think this
That's
strat,
the worst thing I've ever heard.
No. The strat is you put the gem that disables on weapon swap in your boots, and only the boots, right? And then you can weapon swap to like generate charges. Like it's clunky, but
Weapon swap has like a cooldown though.
Oh, that's true
I
now.
think you
Yeah.
can just spam click an item off and on as fast as you can click.
People are gonna get banned for it, trying to macro it up.
Too many actions, kick to login screen.
I wonder if they'd patch it and make it so you lose charges if you like remove the boots.
I think they're gonna make it so it has a cooldown, or you have to be stationary for like 1 second, and it's gonna be unusable.
I
I
definitely
think
think
that's
Rue's
cool.
idea of just like wearing them permanently, and when you just have a ton of charges.
Yeah, I think they are like very, very good for a lot of builds. Like those boots
Yep.
are like probably still underrated, even though people call them good. Like you can just slap them as a stat stake on like any build, and it's already good.
Like a lot of melee builds, like self-casters need to stand still to do damage, right? Especially like the ones that who hit really, really fast, right? So I think for a lot of those builds, they're just going to be really, really insane as an item.
Be really good with some Sentinel max charge rings too. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Or Trickster, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
anything
I'm telling
that's
you, you use it with Trickster, you just put them on, and you get the Trickster charge node, and then you get that heist wand, and it'll basically sustain the charges, and you don't need to wear them. You just put them on once at the start of every map for half a second.
Honestly, sounds worth it. Like, actually sounds pretty good. Like, I know I was memeing about it before before the podcast, but I think it sounds pretty good. You will sustain most of the time.
And then if
That's
you
only on
lose a
Trickster,
charge, you
right?
just switch them on again real quick.
Yeah, you need
Yeah, because like
charge duration, otherwise
you
you
get the
will lose
wand
it.
that gives you it gives you endurance frenzy or every 6 seconds, and then your charges are gonna last like half a minute or whatever they last.
You can do that with the chest mod too now.
The Restless Ward, yeah.
You can
No,
do
no, no.
both.
I think he means like the chest generates endurance charges
Oh,
every
yeah,
15 seconds.
The problem with
like,
the chest generates one, isn't that the same influence as like generic aura effect?
yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the problem. They put like all the good mods on like one thing for some of these implicits, and it's not like evenly spread. I feel like on chess, Searing Exarch is like so good, right? Because generic aura effect and max res and like the charges generated are all on there.
Yeah, I was
Like,
looking at
Tuna is saying
chest
it's not
zones.
on generic aura, but I thought it was Searing Exarch. Is it not Exarch?
I thought it was Searing Exarch too.
It is. Because I was looking at it, and it was like, because I was looking at Eater, and like the only almost good thing on Eater is the like specific auras. Because I was like, what else can you possibly get? And it's pretty much just those. All the other good stuff is Exarch.
There's like max res too on Exarch, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
max res is for sure Exarch.
Yeah.
It's just
Kinda
like the
hard to
boots,
justify.
like all the ground effects are on Exarch too, and then like action speeds on Exarch, and like most of the good mods on boots are on Exarch too. I think the only thing that's really good on Heater is like maybe like avoid elements, and I don't even know what else is good on that thing.
Just like Physis Chaos for poison builds.
Yeah, there you go.
Or the best mod, CDR of travel skills.
Hey, I use that a lot this league for smoke mine because
You still try to use this smoke mine?
I mean, I think smoke mine is still like very, very useful. Like if you build around it, like if you have some character with the duration cluster, right, and you have the movement speed enchant, I think smoke mine is still really, really good because you're at like a 3-second smoke mine almost with increased duration, and you go really fast, like 60 movement speed.
Yeah. I tried it on my TR build still, like after the nerfs, and that build always has insane scaling duration. I think if Smoke Mine, if they didn't double nerf it, duration and cooldown, and if it was only the duration nerfed to 1 second, I would still use it, but like 5 seconds is so long that shares with Flame Dash.
Yeah, I totally agree. They butcher that skill so bad. I don't even know why. Like, yeah, it was like really, really insane, right? But like the double nerf was really, really harsh. I agree
Wanted
with
to
you
use
on
it
that
on
one.
Seismic last week because you skill duration, right? But I just couldn't justify it over Flame Dash, even for mapping. I don't know. Like if you don't have another choice, it's okay. But usually you have like you can just use Flame Dash, right, and run away.
Speaking of charges, what about the flask charges? Are you guys ready for pain?
Yep, I have to press flask again. I can't just put it on auto use in bossing.
Overflowing chalice comeback.
Actually used it for one league and it didn't feel bad at all. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
as
don't
an
know, man.
expedition, everybody used it.
It was probably needed, realistically speaking. I'm surprised they didn't put a cooldown on it instead.
It's
3
probably
charges
nerfed
per hit
enough.
is still good.
Yeah, like for bossing, I think you still put 3 per hit, but for mapping, I'm pretty sure T1 effect or not effect, charge recovery is just better with like the density of modern maps.
I think you wanna use reduced charges used, maybe.
Or that, you can use either.
This game's giving me wrist problems. I really don't want to have to press flasks again.
Same. I mean, I'm never
Same.
gonna press flask again at maps.
mean,
like
Dread
that's
League
not gonna
time,
be a
right?
thing.
Time to get the mate mod, Dread League.
Yep. 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 That's the
Yep.
first item I go for now. I don't care.
I guess I'm just gonna have to play softcore trade so I can get day 1 mage blood every league and never lose it.
Yeah, that was my experience in Arch Nemesis and it felt pretty nice. Get mage blood on day 2 and then just the rest of the league you only use mage blood.
Some of us. Okay. I've never seen one drop, and I played a lot of Path of Exile, and Ventura's gotten like 6.
I
Have
only
you guys
dropped
gotten
2.
one drop?
Nope, never.
Nope.
Not even a card.
Did you
Not
never
even
drop
the
a
same.
card? Didn't you do a lot of Crimson this week?
I did about 800,000 kills at Crimson, like fully juiced all my scarabs and everything. Didn't get one, and immediately was so bored because juice maps are so boring to me. I can't do it.
I did the same, and I quit after a day. I did one full day of juice crimsons, and I was like, this shit is boring, and it's not even profitable because you had to juice them so hard.
I don't like the process of like clicking stuff between maps. I just want to put the next map in without thinking. Yo, speaking of maps, what do you guys think of the new stuff? The memories or whatever it's called?
It sounds really good as long as it's rewarding, because to me, like one of the great things about Sentinel from Self-Found was like you would just have random like Blight Sentinels and just like Breach Sentinels. You just toss them in if you wanted them, and then you get the stuff, and that's cool. And memories being like not reliant on your Atlas, and apparently, quoting Chris, super rewarding, could be amazing because you just like save them, and then I need Breach. You just slam it and go, and hopefully they actually aren't stingy with the
And
rewards.
he did say 100 Rogue Exiles.
Is that good? What do those guys even drop?
A lot of uniques. A lot of rares. I mean, rares don't matter.
A
But
lot of
uniques.
jewels. Yeah.
I mean, if
I think it's gonna
the
be
idea is if
really
it's
fun.
100 Rogue Exiles, it's probably like 10 breaches, Like, it sounds pretty decent.
Yeah, I hope they're super rewarding, to the point where I'm excited if I see one. And I hope there's a harvest one where there's no garden. They're just your map is harvest monsters.
And you just gain life force.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that.
It's like Untainted, only life force drops, and like every monster is just overflowing with life force. Save me, game.
Oh, I'm kind of scared for the league mechanic because when Chris was talking about it, he was like saying they like scale up really, really hard and it becomes really, really hard. And when Chris talked about Ubers, he sounded like it was a cakewalk. So
I'm
it's got me
expecting it to
kinda
be like
spooked.
Scourge in terms of difficulty. Like towards the end, it's just 300% Scourge, probably. But maybe it even gives defense, not just damage. So it's going to be way worse. Or just like Sentinel, right? Like Sentinel was really powerful as well. It seems like they don't mind giving us rewards if the fight we have to fight for it is like difficult enough.
Unless they're uber uniques.
Yeah, it needs to be rewards from like random drops, not like actual boss fights.
Speaking of Uber uniques, what do you guys think of Ziz's unique? He was streaming and he said his unique was going to be Hate Forge level power, and I'll be honest, I expected a lot more.
I knew
when I
what
saw
it
those
was
gloves,
going to be, and like I think those gloves are really good in hardcore for like Bone Shader Slayer and like Helix Champion type of builds. But like for softcore, it's like vendor trash, and for like a lot of hardcore builds, it doesn't do too much.
Well, here's what I thought of. I didn't test it. A lot of bosses don't do anything at 100% HP other than like auto attack. And a lot of bosses have a small amount of energy shield. So can you just use those to like cheese where you just have like a level 1 spell that doesn't do any damage to just build up the full Soul Eater stacks before you
Yeah, I
even
was talking
start the
about
boss
it.
fight?
You can do it
You should be
on
able to.
either Exarch, Cirrus. You can just stack under like at the start of the fight while they don't do anything, at least. So it's like pretty good there.
Uber Elder 2, kind of Maven. Facial Maven has higher cooldowns than all of her stuff. She's pretty AFK. Like, most bosses in this game have health thresholds for all their abilities, and you can do that. But it's definitely like an item that makes it so you can more easily farm the other Ubers on bad builds. But if that's the only new Uber unique, there's still no reason to farm the other Ubers. So it's like, maybe next patch, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, the other problem is like he said it's gonna be super rare from Uber Elder. Like if those gloves are 1% drop from Uber Elder, like like
Uber Elder.
or Uber, yeah. Like if they were like common, right? You get you kill it once or like you kill it 3 times, you get the gloves, and then farming it is easier. But if they're like Omni Rarity from Uber Elder, like I don't know, you can't really plan around them.
Yeah, the fact that they're like the clear best use case is essentially for the Ubers, but then you have to kill one of the harder Ubers just to have a chance at getting them is a little awkward.
Yeah, I looked at them and I was trying to think of like what builds I can use them on. You know, like just, and I couldn't really even think of anything because anything like a C, right, that could do Ubers or could farm them usually does like giga damage already. So it doesn't, it like barely even matters.
Wait, there's one thing though. They will scale into the next set of like endgame content. Like if we get like Ubers, right? Like if we get something
The
harder than we
awakened
currently have,
Ubers.
it's gonna be like some primal Uber stuff. It's gonna be a lot better for that. And you just farm
Ancient
Uber
Ubers?
Elder. Yeah, some ancient Ubers, dude. Log in.
Primal ancient Uber.
I mean, for that kind of stuff, it could like scale well enough actually, even for softcore maybe. If
I could
we
see
ever
that
get
happening.
harder content, but I feel like we currently have pretty hard content with the nerfs that we got this week.
Yeah, I think Ubers are going to be a lot harder this league than last league for sure, right?
Not in softcore.
Or I mean, no, a lot of softcore builds lost so much damage. They nuked damage to the ground, and
Yeah,
I'm
but you
okay
can-
with that.
Can't you just like log in on Mo and day 2 start farming Ubers day 3? Like
Hey, just play an Ignite build.
you just
There's
get the
like 10 of
damage,
them.
you get the ignite, and then you run around.
But that's like for one Uber, right? I don't know about is Maul going to be really good on stuff like Cyrus and stuff that
It's
actually could do damage to you.
It's good for every boss fight except Exarch, and you can do Exarch if you are skilled. Or you can just play it like custom dev on Exarch, where you just die every ball phase, and that also is good enough. But I mean, I'm sure there's
why
other
dying's
builds
allowed
too.
on Exarch. Why do softcore players get a different version of the fight? Like, come on, you died to it. You gotta do the mechanic again.
Right? I mean, they have the same with memory games, right?
Boss should
Yeah.
full heal when you die.
I agree.
Bosses should full heal when you die. Gosh, dude.
Yo,
At least your guys'
apparently,
take is better than
PoEDB has a mod.
Quantrix.
PoEDB
What?
has a mod with one portal. Maybe I don't know if that's like something that we will actually get or something, but apparently there's like some PoEDB mod that like maps only open one portal or something.
Isn't that
That's
for
how you're gonna get the foils.
that's for old Zana missions, right?
Oh, it might be
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, old Zana missions, one portal. Like I don't really mind that. I think that'd be kind of cool, but that's gonna piss off a lot of people. It should be like optional, like maybe have like its own specific challenge, like open one portal only, get like 100% quant or something, and if you fail, you fail, right? If you screw up once, you're done.
I feel like
I'm okay with that.
You play softcore to like, not really be challenged by bosses in the game. You play softcore to like juice up, and when you wanna do boss, I don't think you are looking for like a super extra challenge. I don't think it's needed personally.
I honestly think some of the like really tough endgame balance would be a lot less janky if stuff was balanced around like you had to start over on like boss fights and stuff when you died and you didn't just get to zug it with 6 portals on a ZHP character.
I don't even like that stuff either. And I think all that cast on death shit is just garbage.
I mean, the
Right.
problem
Like,
is
you play the
either
game-
phases or custom dev, right?
Like that, like you play a game to have fun, right? Like, how is that fun? Just run into the boss and then just kill yourself over and over again. It's just, man, like, what are you encouraging? Like suicide bombing?
The problem is I don't know how many people play this game to farm bosses, especially in softcore. Like I think a lot of people do the boss once, twice. They're like, I want to go blast maps. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. It's just like I don't. Whenever I play softcore, if I farm bosses, it's like, oh, I'm farming it. Like I'm not really like engaged by the boss. It's just like cookie clicker.
The alternative is like conditional rewards on bosses for either not dying or using, you know, less portals.
I think that's what foils are going to be, and that's what Watcher's Eye was back when Elder was like, I'm not going to say hard, but when it was harder.
It still is. If Shaper dies, you can't get Watcher's Eye on
Yeah.
regular Elder.
Yeah, but if Shaper dies, you had to DC it, right?
I might have had my Shaper dive once in Gauntlet.
No
ED.
shot. What build were you
Those
playing?
LMP
ED.
squids are powerful.
I was playing ED and I don't know. I don't think I had contagion. That was the problem, right? So I was just like blighting / baning my squids, and my Shaper died. But it was like a LMP or GMP gauntlet or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess.
I mean, I also died to normal Elder, so yeah.
Yeah, that did happen.
We don't talk about that one.
Still more uniques we need to talk about, guys. Even more uniques.
Dialos, the new Ashes.
Dallas is
Oh,
insane.
man. Dude, you know, I spent an hour or like 2 hours looking up all the alternate quality gems for supports to see like what's broken. There's actually quite a bit of like good ones that I didn't even know about.
Isn't there
Like,
some
somehow-
trap supports that are really good?
There's
There's
a
like
lot
50%
actually.
duration on the support. Like one of the out quality trap support. I don't remember which one, but I think it's like
Sweet.
50% duration.
The reduced one?
No, like increased duration.
Oh, I think Swift still has reduced. It wasn't in patch notes, so technically you can have instant sunboss traps if you wanted, but you have to use a bat support.
There's like a bunch, right? Like
It's-
additional accuracy has like a really good one for accuracy stackers. Divergent pulverize slows your attack speed all the way down and gives you like big single hit damage or big single hit like area damage. Like Ruthless is like the same way. There's like a bunch of them. Apparently, like there's like a awakened cock or like a cock that freaking gives you attack damage, like 50% more attack damage, is 1% per thing, and you don't even have to link it to a skill. So you could just like if you have Dialos on, you just put in cock, and it's just 50% more damage for attacks.
I mean, you can also do Ashes plus Diala for 80%, right? And like maybe
No,
like,
no, no,
and like
no.
enhance on like not supports like gems. I mean,
Yeah, because there's like for main gems, right? We already have Ashes, but for supports, we don't really have something that powerful. And I was looking up all the supports. There's a bunch of them.
I think Mana Leech was insane. I don't remember what it does, but I remember it being really insane.
Did you say Mana Leech?
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check that.
And there's Life Leech also. I think Life Leech is maximum leech rate. I'm forgetting. I forgot what it was.
Oh,
But imagine.
Yeah, Mana Leech.
increased damage for mana spent recently. Some Endagon stuff?
I don't know what you would do with it. I mean, you could just Air King Cloak attack bolts, right?
Yeah, but then you're a mana build.
Yeah,
Nah,
I mean,
that life leech
it's a problem
one's
right now
stinky.
for sure. But like in the future. But yeah, I mean, Diala is just like better skin of the lords, pretty much. But you need to 6-link it, but you can corrupt it.
That armor is crazy. I love it. I like it. I hope it's like 1C, so I can have
Mage
it.
blood tier.
Dude, maybe it's gonna be cheap because people really cannot read. Like people think you cannot color it. People think you cannot socket the correct gems into like any socket. Like maybe it's not gonna be that expensive, dude.
Or it might just be common as hell.
Yeah,
It
dude.
used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be pretty common, yeah. Like tier 4.
And it's also a low level unique too, right? Level 37. So
Yeah,
Ancient orbs.
I don't think they're gonna do rarity tuning on these uniques at all. I think they're all gonna retain the rarities they had before.
I think they already said that they are going to. I forget what I saw exactly, but I remember reading something that they like implied that they would be to some degree.
I remember them saying like they're tuning every unique to be rarer, but I don't know if like specific uniques as well.
Yeah, like we're getting globally reduced unique drop rates for everything in the entire game.
Yeah, it
But
might have been that.
I haven't seen anything about specifics, and they usually don't share that information when they change currency drop rates or like individual unique drop rates unless they're boss drops. But I feel like, I mean, these are buffs meant to make them used, and hopefully that's going to actually be the case.
because a lot of these uniques were made to give you power level early, like all of these, like Cloak of Flame and stuff like that, right? It'd be kind of weird if you have a level 18 unique and you don't get it until you're like 95, right?
Well, yeah, I don't think those ones. I hope those ones don't get made more rare. It's like specifically the stuff like Dialas or Thunderfist or Covenant that are like clearly heavily endgame viable that I could see changing. But the ones like Cloak or whatever, that I kind of see those as those are really good. They'll get you up to T16s and they'll probably get you to non-Ubers. I hope they don't change those ones.
GGG just teased or like just released the Iron Unique, the gloves, the Rage gloves. I don't know if you guys already seen them or whatnot, but I mean there have been
No,
some
I've heard
posts
about
running
them.
around, and they are pretty good. It's like life resist and rage generation for life regen. It should be really good. Like I think people will use it in a lot of builds, like bottom level of the skill tree. Maybe even like right side, like greater builds and whatnot. They are very good. You lose
Berserk is
regen though,
back.
but other than that, it's good.
How
I
did he
think it's a
get them to
huge
put life?
investment.
How did he convince them to put life on them?
I don't know. He's a fucking wizard, man.
They're so against putting life on uniques.
They removed
I think it's
life
because
from
they're
so many
combs.
uniques, right?
Did
Yeah,
any of
comms
your
is
uniques
thematic with
ban?
life, right?
My Shaper Helm has life on it because it's like a Slammer unique, which is like basically if it's like thematic to like kind of make sense, they're okay with it. And this makes sense. It's like pure armor item, and it has like 3 other life mods already on it. So like having life on there like makes sense with the idea of the item. I think it's gonna be really good. Like the reason Chamber sucks is the cost. Like 15 rage regen, which is decent investment, gives you very long berserks, which berserks OP.
Didn't they like nuke Chainbreaker again though or something?
Yeah, they had to because if we had the old version, it would scale this rage regen because it was rage regen rate. So they had to modify Chainbreaker, and the new version of Chainbreaker is way worse for every build in the game that could have used old Chainbreaker, but it's better for some very weird bad build that somehow has 400 mana regen.
An
I
ES build
even
with
these
Chefs.
even these gloves, right? The opportunity cost for these are like really, really high. I think of glove slot as like one of the stronger slots of your gear, right? Because glove implicits are like insane. You can't really use these on any sort of like strike build, right? Because your clear is going to be dog shit with only 1 strikes for a lot of different strikes. Like losing all your regen is kind of terrible considering how many dots are in the game. I don't know. I think the opportunity costs for using these gloves are really, really high. And 500 regen is really, really hard to get when you're on right side of the tree. You basically have to roll it on gear, right? And you already need to roll suppression because suppression is such a low thing that you have to get suppression plus life regen. I really think these are going to be really hard to use.
It's also minus 36 suppression. There's no implicit, no suppression, no mastery.
Yep.
Does Volpact kill the gloves or not? Because Wallpack says life
should.
regen
It
has
does.
no effect.
Inquits doesn't, Wallpack does.
But just don't click that because it's bad. And it's fine. I definitely think Slayer is gonna be able to use these and get Berserk. Like a reasonable Berserk if they choose to.
Still a huge cost, though, I think.
Yep. But like just talking about like the best build in the game, for example, Bone Shatter, you already have Ancestral Cry for some plus strikes, so like you don't like need the +1 on the gloves. And then you can get Berserk, which meant that you do damage because then you can actually attack.
I mean, like the best use for the gloves is just to put them on before a boss, right? And then take them off. Because you automatically start every boss fight with 50 rage.
And then one shot it
That's-
with one Berserk.
Yeah, there you go, dude.
And then you switch to the
Easy.
Ziz gloves.
Or just log out and do it again.
Dude, I can't wait to socket in the boots for my charges, the gloves for my Berserk, and then just kill the boss. It's gonna be great. You're gonna use like a Enkindling Orb Flask with reduced mana cost for your Divine Blessing, like just a bunch of temporary bullshit that lets you one-shot bosses.
Sounds fun.
I hate that. I hate that so much, man.
Or you just play Seismic again with double Ming's Heart and kill the boss before your Molten Shell wears off.
Dude, Ventura linked me a POV 3.8 mil. 3.5
Yeah,
times more than I've ever had in base league. In base league, I one comboed every boss in the game. Like, what?
Dude, we were doing POVs for Seismic with Ming's Heart, and I was like, holy shit, is it going to be Seismic League again? Ming's Heart is actually so strong.
How do we feel about like Seismic and DD nerfs? I think they actually hit the numbers pretty well.
They're nerfed enough that I don't want to play them, so that's good enough for me.
I think they are nerfed enough to be playable, but like it's not like the obvious choice.
Yep. It's perfect.
Yeah, I'm glad they nerfed specifically that Veiled Helmet mod really hard too. The mod was stupid.
I think you can actually get away without using it on a lot of poison builds now and ignite builds, which is nice. Like it was very limiting. You still want it, but it's not as. I mean, it's weird to say it's not as mandatory, right? Because it's like a clear loss of power, but you don't feel as punished if you don't have it.
Anybody cooking up any Ignite builds with that new mark yet?
No.
Don't think the
Because
mark
that's
I
is
think
good.
good
that
damage.
that thing is dog shit. Like,
It should scale with Curse Effect, right? The damage
It
on the
does,
dot.
but it takes a curse slot, and Ignite builds already have 2 really good curses usually, so it's like the opportunity cost is kind of high. Flame Surge is so good for Hex Touch. It's just like, I'm sure you can do it, and it's like a good solution, but Flame Surge is OP, man.
I tried to fit it in my Ignite build, and it was bad. And I tried to make and it was bad on my Poison build. And then I tried to make a combination of Ignite Poison with Hex Blast, and then my eyes were bleeding after I made the POV. So I think even if they buffed that mark by 2x, I don't think anyone would use it.
You would
I
100%
think
use it at 2x. Like, so the thing with the mark, it's always going to look bad in POB, but Flame Surge isn't always up, and that mark would be reapplied more easily, and it's like automatic. So if it was like a little better, like 35 instead of 25, I'd probably use it on Ignite.
I get okay on Ignite. You're right, but on Poison, if they buffed it 2x, would you use it?
No, slow hitting poison is not a
stinky.
thing.
It's literally just Flame Blast Poison, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
I agree with Ignite. Yeah, like Ignite builds are actually good now. You guys agree with that, right?
Yes, I love Ignite. It's OP.
Yep.
I mean, this transitions well into like League starters. Like, what do you guys think is like a good League starter? I have a really hard time picking a build that's like it takes all the boxes. The only thing that comes close to taking every single box is Champion Helix.
Yes, sir. Al Kaiser's build. He's always been right. It's the best build in the game. Clear all content, easy gearing, always OP.
I haven't
Got buff
looked at
too.
it.
If you use Pride,
Yep, Pride bug fix.
I'd imagine Explosive Trap is in a pretty good spot though.
Cannot use Sunblast for it though, but it's still very
Oh,
strong.
no, definitely not. But I don't think it needs it.
They nerf Brittle, but I think it's still fine. Like I checked the crit chance and it looked completely fine. I was having like 95 without like a big investment with like 2% Brittle.
I have different priorities when picking a League starter than you guys. My priorities are number one, I can read chat without dying, so I don't get laughed at. And number 2, easy on my wrist, so I can play, long hours without hurting myself. And then
For
whatever's
me,
fun.
the only time I ever have wrist problems is if I have to aim a lot with my mouse because I have a super low DPI. So things like Helix are actually really good for that. Like if I don't have to aim at all, I never have problems.
The 2 weeks you played TR in a row must have been a disaster.
I still have permanent damage from that, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it was actually more, right? Because you played the Raider before that. Like, it
Yeah.
was like actually 2 months of TR or something.
I played 2 Raiders and then the champ, and it wasn't good.
It's like, I feel like BFBB is like literally the same thing too. Like, there's a lot of skills like that in this game.
Yeah, like skills where you aim direction are fine, but skills where you have to aim direction and distance is I hate it.
No. Like when it was hit-based DD, oh, it was terrible. I have so many wrist pains from that. And then BFBB, those 2 builds like really hurt me a lot.
Who's gonna play Lightning Conduit on League Start? What do you guys feel?
I will if the league start race is like something I'm not interested in, then I'll do it probably.
Yeah, I want to start it. It looks really fun, and it should be good enough to like not be at least a bad starter, and it might be really solid. I mean, the numbers are good on it.
That thing does so much damage for a starter. Like just like with implicits alone, you're like pushing like 5-6 mil. Well, maybe you guys do a little less because you guys have to spec more life. But when I did my POBs, like 170% life, you're still pushing like 6 mil.
Yeah, with full defensive auras, I was like 3.5. But even then, full defensive auras, elementalists look kind of on defense.
Yeah, I'm just worried
like,
about
a little
that.
sketchy.
Like,
I
can't
have
imagine myself doing like difficult league content on Elementalist self-cast. That's the problem I have in my vision right now.
anything elementalist. This is if you don't play triple auras, full defensive auras on elementalist, you're going full suicidal because it's pretty weak.
Just go golems.
I would love to.
Golem,
18
Chaos
Fizz
Golem.
DR. It's actually really powerful. The issue is 1 multi-proj goat and you're dead.
And also Gemsock.
And gem sockets.
I feel like
Yeah,
in softcore there's a lot of starters you can play depending on what you wanna do, both SSF and trade. But in hardcore, I think hardcore trade is pretty good for starters. But I'm kind of scared that the hardcore SSF we're gonna see a bunch of like Berserker Air Shatters and Champion Helix, Slayer Bone Shatter. Like all the melee builds kind of take everything, but the casters
Yep.
like are always missing something.
Didn't use Divine Blessing, didn't need Mannerization Mastery, got a Pride bug fix. I mean, and everything else got nerfed. Sounds good to me.
I don't mind it too much though. I haven't played it in a while, so I'm kind of down. But I don't think a lot of people will enjoy it.
It's gonna be Hex Blast League.
I'm not
Yeah,
convinced by
really?
Hex Blast.
That one,
Personally.
I think it looks really good as well.
Hex Blast Ignite.
So your
I think the
POB
mapping's not
then,
going to be insane unless you fit in Blast for me.
It looks good. Like it's like 6 more DPS Ignite Bell with decent defenses, right? But
yeah, I think it's like 5 maneuvers with the like thresholds of ailments and cruelty and stuff. But like 5 mil Ignite is disgusting, and it's not like DD. Like old DD 5 mil was 5 mil static permanently because corpses had fixed HP, but Hex Blast has like a pretty large damage range. So if you're doing good uptime, you actually do like 15% more than that if you're fishing for big ignites.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
But
it's in quiz.
but the playstyle is not exactly very good for like Hex Blast on bosses.
Yeah, I mean it's only like 7 buttons. It's not even the full like 13. It's fine.
Oh man. You guys are used to that stuff, but me, I can't handle it, dude. Anything past like 3, I'm just like, forget about it.
is
Yeah,
that why you're playing Vortex? Is that the only reason?
Dude,
Well-
Ignite Vortex is such a nice skill to play mapping. I don't even have to look at the screen. I don't have to look at anything. I just charge into monsters and everything dies.
Did you say they removed Frost Thunder from the game?
Yes.
Yeah, they
But Heat
did.
Shiver is really
What?
strong.
Dude, that's what I was saying, Ben. That item has been a staple of PoE. Like, Ellie hit builds still used it, right? The one league I was going to make a league starter with it, right? And it was pretty OP too. They just removed it from the game. I think there's a GGG snitch in my chat, and that guy hates me. And he just hate watches me, and he just tells Neon to remove random items to spite me.
I think the 13 people in softcore trade playing Ellie hit on PoE Ninja are going to be real upset with that.
I mean, it's still a usable item. They keep all of the useless shit in the game, right? But that item is actually useful. And they removed it. I mean, it's not just Ellie hit, right? Like, a cold ignite build still used. It was so good for cold ignite builds. It was just, I don't know.
It
It's
still
kinda
is. You just
sad.
have to freeze.
At least the replacement is like useful, if nothing else. Like, Heat Shiver definitely has some usage.
I heard from Crip himself that it's OP Ice Crash Ignite. That's the build.
I've
20
seen this
million
reality.
DPS.
I know where this leads. 0.8 attack time elementalist.
Wait, is it
Ignite.
Marohe? Or what?
Oh, man.
Please
No.
don't
It
tell
doesn't
me
matter
this.
what. It doesn't matter what weapon you use.
No,
Even like
there's a-
chieftain setups.
The Incursion Sword, I think. I think it's an Incursion Sword. It has like always freeze as one of the mods on it, so you can actually freeze bosses.
Like, you wouldn't
Love it.
even want to use, like, any of those two-handers if you play Ignite, like, attack skill Ignite. You use the little ball sword that gives you, like, 75% more, and then you just get, like, so much more damage.
I'll
If
start
you
out
know
the
how to
ball.
generate flat.
Isn't
Yeah.
that what the Waggle was talking about as well?
What's it
Yeah,
called?
that's the one. Story
Story
of the
of the Ball.
Ball.
That thing's better for Ignite, like, attack Ignite than, like, every, like, two-hander in the game, almost.
Is that
If
what you
can
use
generate, like,
for Inferno Blow?
yeah. I generated, like, 2 weeks ago, I generated, like, 30-something million for Inferno Blow with that. Inferno Blow Ignite is actually crazy for melee Ignite. It's better than Ice Crash.
You have to
Numerically.
hit 6 times, right?
Yeah, you have to hit 6 times. But that's not like a huge problem because you have like the buff counts down, right? So you have like a second to hit him again. So you can like move, hit, move, hit, move, hit, move, hit, move, hit, and just get 6 off, and then boom, the big explosion goes off. And you're still igniting when you like hit once, right? So it's not like you don't get the big ignite, but you're still getting like smaller ignites. It's really good.
This is really easy to farm too, right?
It's the upgraded
Yeah.
one, right? Oh no,
Yeah,
it's
you just
not.
need to
vial
It's the
of
base
fate.
one.
Wait,
I think
is it
it's the
base?
base one. Yeah, it is the base one based
Yeah,
on this
it's the
wiki
base
page.
one.
So it's like really easy. The upgraded one looks way worse.
Yeah, Fate of the Ball is the upgraded one. That one's you don't even touch. This one's the good one.
The upgraded one sucks. What the hell?
Yeah.
The but yeah,
This looks good. Like I could definitely see more people using this for sure with Heat Shiver on Elementalist. Before you played Champion, right? Or
I
something.
played both Champion and Elementalist. I played Smite on the Elementalist, and I played Inferno Blow on the Champion, right? And I think both builds were cool, even though they weren't like the best builds in the world. They were kind of, I don't know, I had fun playing them. It's like Inferno Blow with Ashes is actually really crazy because all the ult qualities are insane. Like one of them like chains explosions, and the other one has like 100% burning damage, right? So back then when Ashes was a common drop, it was really fun for one league. But now it's kind of hard to get.
What's your guys' plan for this league, like in general? Do you have like a long-term plan, goal, or just gonna see how it goes and then adapt?
Yeah, I'm playing for about a month, I think, and then
Oh, don't say it.
I gotta log in, you know.
What's in a month?
World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, dude. Log in right now.
Oh my.
Whoa. I don't have any plans. I'm just gonna like do League Start event, get all the favorites, and I truly have no idea after that. Might make another Lightning Strike guy just because that build is so much fun, but we'll see.
I go to work every day and I come home and I just farm emotes. That's all I do.
It's a good life.
Yeah, Ben, if I put you on the spot right now and ask you which builds do you think will win each class in Gauntlet? Without like a prep, what would you guess? I want to
Each
see
class?
if it's similar. Also, do you even think we need a class Gauntlet with the current balance?
No,
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't think so.
I agree.
I mean, how specific would I need to be? Because like champ is Helix, but I don't know like which type of Helix.
Yeah.
I think Inquisitor is going to be
Well,
either Explosive Trap again, because that build seemed pretty good, or some form of like mine build. I've been POBing Spark Mines, and it looks really powerful. Which is going to be whatever someone rerolls to, with whatever gear they have. Shadow is going to be some form of Sunblast Trapper. There's like 3 different variants you could play. I think Blade Trap's really good for bossing with that. Oh, dude, what do you even play on Ranger now? It's hopeless. Is it Helix?
I
How
have
do you survive?
Poison Helix Raider, LA Helix Deadeye, or TR Raider on my list.
I feel like we're going to see a lot of Helix. And just like killing non-Ubers and kill one Uber. Like last Gauntlet, full clear on every class was reasonable. This Gauntlet, if it's the same mods, it's not. It's
I think
probably
they're
not
gonna
going to
make
be
it
reasonable.
harder. I think
You
this
think,
Gauntlet's
dude,
gonna be harder than last
if they make it
Gauntlet.
harder with worse gearing, with worse overall player power, it's going to be like a race to clear non-Ubers and kill like fucking Shaper or something.
I think a lot of people would enjoy that more. Like I think
Maybe.
like people like Alkaiser would be way more motivated.
But
Yeah,
then
'cause
you have to play the whole time just to maybe get one Uber down.
I definitely like that. Like
Or you just
not being
quit after
cleared.
one die.
I think it's better for viewership
You-
too.
Do you guys actually enjoy playing Gauntlet for that long, for that many hours during that event, though?
Yep.
No.
When it was ED meta, I loved it, and like I really enjoyed the last Gauntlet, Archnam, whichever one I died at. Like I think that was Archnam, the 100% monster damage one. I enjoyed that one.
That was Archnam.
Yeah, I had
Alkaiser
fun.
Gauntlet.
I've always felt, I know I don't play that event very often, like once in a while I do, but I always feel like any sort of competitive event has to feel more fair for it to like get big, right? And then once it gets big, then you guys get really paid. But right now, it's like having like a Dota tournament where it's not like you win 7 out of 7 matches and then you win the championship. It's more like you have to win as many matches in a day or in a week or something to win the championship. It's like it's sort of, it doesn't give people that feeling of like total fairness. So I think until people actually get that feeling, it's never going to get like huge.
I don't think it's ever going to get huge. This game is not like meant to be like an esport. The only way to like, profit well from Gauntlet is to like convert your performance in Gauntlet into like dollars from streaming.
I think the only
You
way
never-
this is ever esport is short races, but short races are such a disaster right now that no one even wants to like practice them for really. And like it has been like Act 1 to Act 4 for the last 6 years or 7. And like you always have to do that whenever there's a short race. When it comes to like long races, it's pretty hard for it to be like an actual esport type of scenario.
I mean, making an esport out of short races is just making an esport out of speedruns in general, and that's never really been a thing that's gone to much scale in like any game, even games that are way more popular than PoE. In that regard, at least.
But if it got GGG support or more, like if they made it like if they made a mode just for your guys' like races, like let's say they call it competition mode, right? And in competition mode, it's still going to be SSF, but let's say like when you finish maps, you get 1 T4 unique of your choice. And when you get to red maps or something, you do a quest and you get 1 T2 unique of your choice. And it enables all of these different builds to come online at specific points to make, a better combination of like builds. And I don't know how to explain this properly, but
Just saying, more options to combat RNG
Yeah.
from being a factor.
yeah,
It's always going to be a
There we
good
go.
thing.
I didn't expect it to go this way. I kind of expected it to go in a like GGG limiting playtime per day or something direction, rather than like actually getting like choose uniques or like limit RNG. Because like I don't think GGG would really try to implement tools that limit RNG. Like it just goes against their. I mean, maybe they would be fine with it for races, but like I feel like it goes like really badly against their like philosophy of the game.
Yeah, I doubt they
I mean,
ever would. Just similar to how they don't do any like extra free stuff in private leagues ever. It's always only like bad mods to make it harder, never things that make it easier.
We need Descent
Yeah, but-
Champions 3.0.
But don't you think it would? But don't you think it would enable so many different ways to play the game if that was the thing, though? Like you can have like
Probably.
so many different.
I
Like
mean, in
instead of
theory.
like the 5 main builds in Gauntlet, you would have like 15, 20, and that'd be kind of cool to see like different people with different builds all the time, or try to come up with different theories on how to use that system to to like combat each other in terms of playing the game.
I think part of what's appealing about PoE though is the RNG. Like the RNG moments in PoE are the highlights generally. So like removing it, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing in general. I think the way Gauntlet is set up currently, like it's not like people fluke Gauntlet wins, right? Like it's pretty much either the best players winning or the best players dying and the second best players winning, right? Like it feels pretty fair already.
I don't disagree with that at all, right? But I feel like events should have more excitement, right? When Ben and Nick practice Seismic for 2 weeks and they're the absolute best players and they can play, whatever amount of time and they're just going to win, right? It kind of like brings the excitement out of it. If Joe Bob or something had this one theory crafted build that he could come up with to, he might not win, but he gets close to winning. That's exciting for people to watch. And isn't the point of these events to draw spectators so you make more money?
But how does like one guarantee? You think one guaranteed unique would create like a lot of new builds? Like realistically,
I think it
speaking?
would.
Maybe
Like-
now with the revolt uniques.
Okay, let's say last league, right? You could technically start like, I don't know, a lot of different things actually, just with one unique, or like one T2 unique at red maps and one T4 unique at maps. I think there's a lot of combinations you could do.
Yeah, like Deity and Dawn, you could play EA.
Perseverance, I guess.
It can enable.
Perseverance, right? Perseverance is build enabling.
It would enable more builds for sure, but the like idea of that turning into, some guy coming up with some genius plan build that nobody else thinks of and then can win a gauntlet off of his Giga Brain alone is 100% a pipe dream that would never actually happen. Not in the
It would be exciting if it did.
8 years ago when the game wasn't solved to the degree that it is, but it's just in reality that's never going to happen in current PoE. Practice
like-
is going to trump everything.
Before people started practicing, like in Gauntlet, when Harvest Gauntlet started, right? Sure, Ben won. Let's ignore that part for a second. But like when we were going into it, I think like 20 people could have easily won. When we are going into Gauntlet nowadays, I think the number of people who can realistically win is less than 5, even if we are being generous.
Practice trumps everything.
I think it's also like practices, like if you only consider practicing like the actual leagues itself. I mean, for me this time it was a 25-hour run followed by 10 hours of farming fragments. If you don't count the 30 hours of practice for the softcore duo event of killing Ubers in standard, like the actual like gauntlet part itself is like it's not that much time.
You need to realize you have literally hundreds of hours of Gauntlet practice by playing previous Gauntlets and like bossing in previous Gauntlets, which a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Breaking into it from no experience is hard, but there's like 20 players, like the 20 players you mentioned that like could have won Harvest Gauntlet are all still pretty good at the game. I'm pretty sure if like Waggle who's here and Al can steal, like put in that similar just like one full run of effort, their performance would be like drastically improved.
I agree, but we are at the point, especially this Gauntlet where it was a speedrun. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and I really hope there's like gauntlets are not clearable in the future. Like how they make it unclearable, it's up to them. But like, I don't want full points to be a reasonable thing to achieve ever.
Infinite delving is back.
No, I think the last Gauntlet, the Arch Nemesis with like It was clearable, but it was very difficult. It was pretty good. Maybe even a little harder, or like similar mods, but with current Ubers or stuff like that. I think would be fine. It's just like I think the expectations, like how can I describe this in a way where like he wants to pog when like Ben kills 2 out of 7 Ubers, you know? Like he doesn't want to go into Gauntlet expecting Ben to kill all.
I don't know if you guys have heard this. I don't remember if someone came up with this in my stream or where I heard it, but a suggestion that I had heard was you might have to change the point system around a bit, but for like the Uber bosses in particular, you get -1 point on the boss for each portal you use.
Yeah, that came from. I don't know if I came up with that or if my chat did, but I think that started from my stream, and I think it'd be good. It sucks for the event coordinators to have to moderate that, but not many people kill that many Ubers, so
Yeah, specifically for the
I think
Ubers
it'd be
for that
okay.
reason.
You can also do quant multipliers on invites and like Exile can either, technically. But the
I'd
problem with
rather
quant multipliers
certain
is like
mods.
some mods, yeah, I think it's better to do like haste mod or like extra damage rather than doing quantity, because quantity you always like cheese by rolling something easy.
Yeah.
I hope it goes to like these like 2-day gauntlets, as much as fun the first 2 days are. Like you can clearly see the drop off in like Twitch viewership after Exile 1, or like whoever wins after the 2 days, and it's just like all the racers, even though there's like second place, like Gorata talked about it, for example, where like you are not as motivated to go for first place rather than going for second place after the first place has been claimed, even though it's still like you should be, but it's way harder to like push as hard, I think. I mean, I felt it too.
Same. I immediately killed my second character to a bounty instead of going for second place.
Oh, that Cortex. That
Yeah,
Cortex
that
was
was
crazy.
that was some
I don't even
bullshit,
know
dude.
why.
I had a 3 mod Cortex and it rolls extra damage pen. Like there's
Dude,
30 mods in that pool.
Oh, I know your pain.
I think
F
I
that
did
map.
like 10 Uber Cortexes at the end of this league, and like I didn't get a single one like that with 2 straight up raw damage mods.
I think Hovo's Cortex that he died to was really bad too. It had like 3 defensive mods or something.
Yeah, his arena was screwed. Also, I did an Uber Cortex yesterday, the day before, and in the last phase, the boss didn't spawn degens. He spawned the phase 3 like exploding like spheres. Does that happen normally, or was that just bugged?
Sounds like a bug, I think. I don't know. I never did the boss on Seismic, so it just died.
I think
Yeah.
there might be some RNG on that boss with which like kind of ground effect things you get, because I don't remember specific phases spawning degens or not, but I had sometimes where like the instant a phase would start, it'd put a degen under me, and then other times it wouldn't do anything for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it could just be like RNG or something. I'm not entirely sure. It's not like I do enough Cortexes to ever know. That map is so rare.
It's like the one thing I never practiced in standard when practicing Ubers, because I just didn't see the point. So I don't know enough about the fight at all.
I feel like Alice points are going to be extremely restricting in this patch. Because in the past, I'd go like, full harvest and some sustain, and then the end game bosses, and then you have like Harbinger and shrines, and then you're already out of points. But like now I need like some essences and probably some expedition. Like I have no idea how this is actually gonna feel to play.
You have to put more points into harvest. You got to get that one that adds more mobs now too, because it's going to be more life force.
Yeah, that one extra point.
But
I was gonna
I mean,
spec some
essence, you can grab it for a while. You can ditch it. You get so many so fast if you like have essence nodes, and because we have essence on the map device again, the amount of essences you can actually get is insane. I don't think you'll keep it like full time. I think you'll have it for a while and ditch it.
Yeah, I was gonna spec some Beyond until they said they adjusted the value of the tainted fusings, and now I'm just probably not gonna touch that. But yeah, I think Expedition is gonna be a must-have now, right? Like Rug is gonna give you so many items since you can't reforge as many things with Harvest.
I think currency too. I definitely don't get the feeling that this loot mechanic is going to be anywhere near Archnim or Sentinel in terms of raw currency.
I think it's gonna be stronger if you actually go.
I think
I don't
it's
know
going to
about
be
draw
stronger if
currency,
you're built.
You
but
think
if you're
so?
gonna go greedy, I think it's gonna
There's
be like
no
insane
way.
rewards.
Did they talk about how rewards are determined at all? Like, do you know what you're going to get before you go in?
I think when you're building it, it says what the reward types are, so you can maybe just skip ones you don't want to take a little longer to build it or something.
Okay. If I have a way to like target currency when I'm picking my choices, then obviously I'll always do that, and that'll be fine. But it didn't like, I don't know. I just don't get that feeling from this.
Just look at it this way, right? Chris said it was going to be really hard, so it's probably going to be really hard. And if it's really hard and it doesn't drop anything, Reddit will complain. And then when Reddit complains, they'll just buff the fuck out of it, and they'll drop like a shitload of stuff again.
What?
Yeah, and it's
Reddit
just
will
about like
complain.
what. Yeah, that's always gonna happen. It's just about like what is valuable, because from a trade perspective, there's tons of things that are valuable. Like if there was like a reward that dropped a bunch of like T2 uniques, like that's great in trade. I don't care about it at all. Like all I care about is raw currency, and nothing else matters pretty much. And from like that perspective, it's things can be really rewarding, but just like not rewarding for like what you need in self-found.
I clicked through the trailer and like randomly paused. There's like a one tile that says contains 3 additional harpies, for example.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
So it's
And it
gonna
when
be
you
says
pick
difficulty
from the
10.
3.
I
Oh,
mean,
that's
it says
easy, dude.
if something says difficulty 10, it's probably going to drop a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah,
Sentinel was like
that kind of
70
stuff.
empowerment. Difficulty 10
I
is nothing.
mean,
It's a way lower number.
true.
They use similar wording when referring to how Archnim scaled like rewards in 318, because like a 4-mod Archnim has like a ton of quant and rarity, which is entirely worthless stats that doesn't help you at all, pretty much. So we'll see.
I
I
feel
think it'll
like
be.
we're
I think
gonna
it'll be
die.
good.
I hope it's good. I mean, I was a little concerned about Sentinel being a lot of micromanagement, and like I was super wrong about that.
Same. I was completely wrong about Sentinel when they released Sentinel or the trailer. I was like not so excited, but then at leak start it was like really whatever, because the monsters just took so long to die, right? But then after like a week, it was just like, wow, dude, I just get to juice so much with this thing. This thing is insane.
I just hope it has zero, and it looks like it has zero inventory management, and that just makes me happy, honestly. After Sentinel, not looting anything sounds so nice.
And the interface isn't full screen when you click on it. Massive.
Does it cover the center of your screen though?
It does.
Yep.
We're dead.
No,
You
the
remember
edges are what
Baron
you need to
mobs?
see.
Baron mobs with like metamorph for like ritual rewards. You just die.
Yeah.
I think Ritual is pretty good for uniques, by the way, Ben. I hate to say it.
The big altars are exceptional for uniques. You're definitely right about that.
I mean, both uniques and divines. Like,
Fuck.
Dude, are we actually gonna get convinced to click Ritual?
I can't. Like,
Nope.
If it was on a better part of the tree, maybe. But
It's
there's
so
no
bad.
way. It's so far away.
And I hate doing it. But at least it would be one good use for Trickster, dude. The action speed Ritual, you would just ignore it.
I mean, it's going to be safer next patch, right? Like, surely Ritual was looked at in terms of like rare spawning mechanics. So I assume there's going to be way less stuff. Because it was
they forgot
dangerous
about
this patch.
Ritual because no one did it.
It's also possible they just didn't change it, because the way like Ritual works is it adds some monsters like on its own, and then it just revives all the ones that were around it. So like if there was 9 rares around it, well, there's going to be 9 rares in it as well. So we'll see.
You know what I think is really going to be broken because you know how they nerfed the number of rares and magic monsters or whatever in the maps, because they feel like the arch nemesis mods can make the monsters harder, right? But the Alva mod that turns all monsters into rare and magic monsters 33% of the time, they can't possibly nerf that, right? Because they actually turn all the monsters into magic and rares. So whatever you do Alva, drop in the unique freaking scarabs and then watch the loot pour out like usual.
Probably, yeah.
It'll probably even be more.
Are magic mobs harder?
What do you mean harder?
Like, they didn't make magic mobs
No.
any different other than packs will have more of the same mods as each other, right?
That is gonna be annoying. kind of hate
They
that change.
should be easier. Like the Storm Shadow change is really nice for that. Like
Oh, that
less
was the
clutter.
adults, right, or whatever.
Yeah, like all of like the like Archon modifiers like spawned like BS just occur less frequently on blue monsters, and some of them just don't spawn their BS on blue monsters. Like Storm
I don't
Shadow
think
was Lightning
Toxic
Rush.
was listed.
It was not, but I think it'll be less frequently on them because of the generic, like the buff ones are more common than the effect ones.
By the way, am I crazy or like at the start of the league, this league, the Toxic blue packs just spawned a ton of green volatiles,
Yeah, they
and
nerfed
people
it.
were like, "This is dumb," and then they nerfed it.
I think it's
But when I
bad.
started playing again at the end of the league, it felt like there was a ton again, like the nerf
Yeah,
had
I
gone
felt the
away
same
or
way.
something.
I legit
Uh-huh.
felt the same way. It felt like I killed a pack and there was like 20 toxics chasing me.
Yeah, it
I
felt like
didn't
the
notice
nerf
it.
disappeared randomly.
It might have.
I'm kind of excited about the fact that league mechanics now scale with like map quantity and player quantity. Like it doesn't matter as much for us, but like it makes way more sense for the game. Like in Arch Nemesis, when I was doing like 4-mod Arch Nemesis, I was just doing it in white tier 16 or even lower tier sometimes. It felt really weird, right? Like that's not how it should be. But now it
Yeah.
actually scales with quant and player quant.
Does this mean that you have to use a mage blood now? Because you
Mhm.
want to do the hardest shit possible, like every single map?
I mean, technically, you always have to use Mageblood if you want to be optimal, but like,
Yep.
it's not that
Love
fun.
Adam.
That's why I enjoy SSF rather than just building around Mageblood every league.
Does Helix Champ use Mage Blood, or is it a Perseverance gamer?
It's a
It's
Mageblood.
2 mods, Stygian Vice.
Immortal Flesh?
Maybe. I don't know. It's like, what does that really give? It's just recovery, right?
What if it's Supreme Decadence build?
It's like 400 regen and 40% increased armor.
I'd rather have a Abyssal Jewel for like 5 attack speed. Recovery's fake. Actually, that's a lie. That build needs recovery bad.
Yeah.
My Uber was pure pain.
I was watching your series and like your degen was legit worse than like my 3K life sabo.
Well, I mean, that doesn't matter with regen because it disables your regen when you're in it.
Well, yeah, but the Supreme Decadence would help, right? The belt would be nice.
Yeah, the belt would help because your fast speed better, and the main thing is you just need to have proper Hamilton voids. You can go Air Collie. But like, I mean, that's just no Leafy Shade. It's actually disgusting, the gap in bossing on Leafy Shade versus non-Leafy Shade.
Kind of hate it. I mean, there's a Pantheon that helps a little bit, at least against Awakener specifically, but I don't know, Lady Shade just feels like kind of mandatory for Ubers, unless you have 90 Ulras. Speaking of Ulras, how do you guys feel about like melding nerfs?
It's
Probably
fair.
necessary, right?
It's gonna suck with divines, but it's fair.
I think 4, like initially I thought 4 was like a good number, and then after I did POVs, 4 is really, really harsh.
I think it
Like
should have been
unless you're
3.
using, like 3 or 2 would have been better. Like 4 is really, really nasty for a lot of different builds. And then you pretty much have to go cold now with that freaking Brine King's crown for the extra 3, because there's like only like a few combinations fit, right? If you want minus or plus 19, and most of them you have to use that helmet, I feel like.
It's really good
Yeah.
because cold dress is on gloves as well, right? So you just
Yeah,
get it everywhere.
That's why. You get it on shield, you get it on helm, and then you get it on gloves, and then you can get it on chest or whatever, and Purity of Ice. I think that's like one of the easiest ways to get 90 melding now.
Let me
But
just use leaderships.
yeah, but even with leaderships, it's still quite difficult, right?
Yeah.
Or just be a champion.
Yeah, or champion.
I mean,
Are +5 shields like common in softcore trade without recombinators?
no.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think they
because
are
you
after
get-
the nerf expedition.
Really? I get them all the time from doing ROG. Like all the time. So I think they're pretty common.
I thought they changed
They're not
Rogue,
rare.
because like Rogue used to work like it rolled like 10 times and they took like everything combined and took the rarest mods. And I think now it just like looks at each of the 10 rolls individually, so it's like way harder to get +5 from Rogue, but it's probably still like fine. but I don't think they're like super common at all.
I think I got like 5 or 6 this league, and I didn't do that much. I did Expedition for like 2 weeks or something like that at league start to build up like a big currency pool, but I think I got like 5, maybe 6. I don't know. So it's not that uncommon.
Yeah, that's pretty decent still, I guess. But it's a lot of farming, you know, like you can't really like force it.
Yeah, I mean, I have scarabs and everything, so you know, I get a lot of expedition currency. And Sentinel was insane for expedition this league, so
I feel like melding, like we didn't even use melding in Gauntlet even when we had access to it. Like it doesn't feel that strong for bossing. It's good for melding though, especially in softcore.
I thought melding was super OP, but then after like PoBing more and playing with it, like you just never need it for bossing.
It was very comfy on my sabo though to play 90 Elders. Like it felt so nice not having to ever switch, not having to ever change a purity.
That is true. If you're farming different ones permanently, like in like a long league, it's definitely true. You don't want to do the swaps.
Yeah, but with another 4, it's gonna be super, super hard.
I think
especially
for
with
bosses
no
though, like -4 isn't that big for bosses because all the dangerous abilities have 15 pen anyways. So like you're not at 90, you're at like 75 or something. So it's like kind of whatever.
Is there any attack on an Uber that like matters that doesn't have pen?
Eater
or
of
are they
Worlds.
just straight up all pen across the board?
Well, actually, I don't know if Eater of Worlds attacks have pen because Eater of Worlds attack spawns minions that attack you. So like the damage values aren't in his PoEDB page, and I don't know how to find the damage values of that attack. But the tentacles don't have pen. There's 75% conversion to lightning, so like Eater of Worlds is like you gotta have 90 lightning resist.
I mean, Sears doesn't have pen, right?
Yeah, that one's full spells though.
That's true.
I mean, in general, I think Eater of Worlds is the only boss that has attacks at all that really matter. Kind of Molten Minotaurs. Those don't have pen and they're fizz to fire attacks.
I mean, for those fights, don't you guys think new Trickster is actually really good? Because you know, there's a lot of ways. Like Ghost Dance replenishes your ES for a lot of these like attacks like Beam or spells like Beam, right? Where you're gonna get the 10%, and that's literally like Fortify. It's 20% less damage, and it's additive with the other mods like Inveterate and stuff like that. So if you have the Mastery, Inveterate, Trickster, right? You only take 33% of all spell damage done to you if you're at full energy shield. Don't you guys think that's really, really good?
Yep, it's really good. How do you do damage though?
Dude, imagine Trickster, but last league with old seismic.
Yeah, it would have been exceptional. I mean, even old Trickster was exceptional with old seismic though.
That is true. It's just like Sabo was actually good. Like if Trickster was a different ascendancy, you would probably play it for seismic, right? Like if it was like a ranger or witch. I don't know. I don't see the Trickster hybrid version working, so I think you have to go CI for Trickster to actually like do something.
Yeah, I think the action speed node could have been stronger. It's like just not that powerful.
I agree with you.
People
I was
think
telling
it's so
people
good.
that, and people were like, people think that I'm cooked, but I was like, 8% isn't really that strong compared to like some of the other nodes you can take, because the energy shield leech node is actually really, really good, right? Like there's ways to build around it.
Like I don't think you like take the action speed node. I don't think like you take it on any Trickster really. It's like the last node you would take.
What if it also gave 8 action speed?
Oh, +8 instead of minimum 108?
Well, it gave both. So you could scale above with like boots and
that
stuff.
would be that would be good.
That would help.
I think it's kind of needed even, or maybe make it like 12% instead of 8. There's gonna be some content where it's good though, right?
I don't think that Ascendancy is ZDPS. It has just to find its own build, right? Because there's some builds that don't have like a good 5th support or 6th support, right? That can use Energy Leech. And Energy Leech when you're on full and leeching is really, really good. And it enables Neck Leech and Glove Leech too, right? And it has 20 attack and cast speed. So I think that node is actually pretty powerful if it's in the right build.
Insane.
Yeah, and then you can like actually spec into like Ghost Reaver and then get the 100%, so you have 40% leech as like CI. So that's also really good, right?
It's only
And
20 with the Ghost Reaver.
No, there's like literally if you spend 5 nodes and you get 100% increase.
Oh,
yeah, there's like maximum.
yeah.
Yeah, there's so it's like 5 points for basically ball pack for CI, right? Except you can't.
I think the moment CI becomes good again, it's going to be an insane ascendancy, but that's just not now. Not in Self-Find at least.
Or as soon as armor doesn't feel mandatory.
Don't think you can play CI and not use armor. Like you cannot really go fist taken as on CI, right? So the only way to play CI and not use armor is pretty much like stacking fist DR from like aura stacking or something, but like you just go armor for that as well. So I don't know how you ever play CI without armor now.
What if you just did net FizzDR?
And no fist DR, no fist taken as. Just play 10k yes.
Just like 15% on the hat. Like to me, like 12k yes, like 15% on the hat, and like actual tons of evasion, and that spell suppression like node. Like I think it'd be like playable.
The problem
Maybe
is
endurance
Uber bosses
charges?
all have can't be evaded on their slams.
Oh, don't get hit by those.
Easy.
Most of those you die to on
Yeah.
characters anyways.
Pretty much all my characters die to all of those unless they have Molten Shell up, and I just assume that if I get hit, I'm dead. And Trickster, you know, it should be a little faster. I
that's the
definitely think
problem.
it's a possible like setup you can do, but like making suppression ES gear is just not a thing for me. Not without metacrafting.
It's gonna be a thing next week when we just can click a fracture on our harvest for free.
You think fracture is thing?
For free? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably like 7 Oshabis for a fracture, dude.
Do you guys
10
think they will
Oshabis.
value all the tier 4 crafts are the same, right?
I don't think so. No. I mean, the Senton is so bad, right, compared to the others.
Yeah.
You're never going to use a synthesis one ever. But fractures are if every Oshabi you kill gives you 1 fracture, next league will be the best league ever. I can tell you that right now.
You mean every 20 Oshabis give you 1 fracture, huh?
Dude, if it's the same rate we get now, it will be literally the best league ever. Even 2 Oshabis per 1 fracture, I would say it would be the best league ever because crafting would be so good. You could craft all your own shit again.
I don't think you are even close.
I know.
I hope, because I really do love fracture crafting, because fracture like will never make the. I guess now it actually can't make the best shit because influence is an implicit now. Like back in Ritual, fracture meant no influence, and you had so much fracture, which meant you just had really good like base rares, and it was very satisfying to the craft in that league with fracture.
Fracture crafting's always been fun. Make really good items.
Well, this league especially with the multiple fractures per item. That's
Yeah.
a little too far, but it was pretty easy to make stuff.
This league was hella fun when it came to crafting.
I love the Recombinators gambling. I don't even care if they nerf them. I hope they come back. Like I just like watching the screen of the mods disappear and then complain about it for like 10 minutes straight.
Yeah. But some of them get so bad and I don't know, I guess you farm emotes in chat when they're really, really bad. But some of them were really, really bad. Like you get like 2 things that were like really rare and then you're expecting to keep 1 still, right? And there's like a 10% chance you don't keep 1 and it actually just bricks both. Those combinations were really, really bad.
It looked really fun in softcore trade. Like I spent some time watching Tuna grind, and he was doing like the corrupted like farming to get like bases, and then he would craft the other half of the base on a non-corrupted base and just like set them together. It looked like very enjoyable.
People are also using the cloak, right, to drop ID
Yeah.
stuff. It was pretty cool.
They would
Finally
drop
got
like
good use.
yeah, people were using, that cloak that drops ID'd items, and then they would set up their loot filter to find like +1 all gems and stuff like that, and only pick up the really rare mods like merciless and stuff on a weapon, so they can sell them and trade. A lot of people were doing that this league.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know like What skill are you guys gonna league start with? Have you committed yet or not at all?
Not committed yet.
Same, but I do think Lightning Conduit looks really, really juicy though. Like those POBs have no gear and they just do damage. If it works well with Orbistorms, I think that skill is going to be insane as a league starter. I think anything with Mings like and Poison is going to be really, really insane. Anything like that uses Cloak is going to be really, really insane. Like all of those items are just really, really strong. Thunder Fist
Yeah.
is another one.
I think Lightning Conduit's really likely. Depends on what they announce for the League Start event, though, to be honest. I might get baited into Lightning Trap again and just get on some Sunblast Copium.
There's
But
some people thinking it's gonna be a short race, like Act 5 or Act 10.
yeah, I saw some people guessing that.
Or Kalandra
Also, I saw
race.
someone in Ventrua's chat say Ice Trap. If people actually get baited into Ice Trap again, thinking it's going to be a good league starter, that would be the greatest thing of all time.
I think it's fine bosser, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to play it like as a mapper or like league starting it.
I think
So
if
they
your
said
goal,
last time.
I think if your goal is to just grind without Sunblast, grind maps without Sunblast, and get to like Maven and grind Maven continuously in like softcore trade with Sunblast Ice Trap, I think if that's what you want to do, then the build is fine, right?
Isn't
If you want to
Explosive
just
Trap just better of the same though?
no, it's Explosive Trap is really hard to stack. It's even worse than Ice Trap.
But is without Sunblast explosive not just better than Ice Trap with Sunblast? Ice Trap looks so bad. Yeah. Like just normal explosive. Like no uniques.
I don't think so. The Ice Trap damages, the Ice Trap POVs do a shit ton of damage. Like you're talking about like no implicits, just Sunblast with, I don't know, like a +1 neck and no other damage on gear and some really shitty weapon. It's like, it breaks like 5 million in softcore.
Man, I
Like
legit
literally
feel,
like butt naked, 5
legit feel
million.
like we went like a year back in time with this whole Ice Trap thing.
Yeah, give me 2 Mings and Seismic in a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also true, right? That's also the other thing, right? Sunblast, Mings, Covenant, all of those items are just insanely strong at League Start.
I really want to start Trade League just because the uniques are like the thing that's interesting this week, not the skills, not anything else for me. Just like all the uniques are so interesting.
I
That's the thing
agree.
I kind of like about Self-Found is the way that finding uniques can enable you to like have a new idea that you couldn't have done before. It's like, oh, now I can make a new character. It's like how Cascade dropping from Maven meant that like, oh, I can go Reap now, whereas before it was never a possibility. And I think that's going to be a thing again this league with some of these uniques.
You say that, but realistically, it means 2 weeks of Expedition.
No. So that's if you're targeting a unique. I'm just gonna let God decide. Just like if it drops, it drops. You know.
I cannot wait to drop some like build enabling Brass Dome with 2% max stress.
Oh man, that's gonna be so sad. Not being able to divine any of your items. Imagine you start League and you drop Ashes and you just get like the worst Ashes in the world. Like, what do you do?
Cry. But think about how exciting it's gonna be when you divine a good one and you hit perfect on your divine.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to me.
Imagine designing a unique that's mostly for people that find it early in League and it has a range of 20 to 50 on every attribute, and now you can't divine it ever.
It sucks, man. Imagine if you did the same thing for a Shaper helmet with. It's not as high as that, but good luck getting a usable Shaper helmet now. Thankfully, that one's common enough. You can just farm a new one.
At least your unique got a lot of use with Recombinator's Waggle. People were real happy about it last week.
And your belt's going to be used a lot more in this league then because of Gravicious mod going away, right? A lot of people are going to be using that belt.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
I think it was already good. Just Gravicious was enough. But
do you think anyone will ever use like Replica Soul Tether intentionally over the Cyrus belt, like permanently?
I don't think so. Why?
It's like 400 more yes for builds that have a lot of life, but then you like don't get the life loss stuff.
Maybe if you play like Inquis with no life, like if you play Inquis with no life loss. right? Like
But that
if
also
you
means you have to heist.
True. I think you would have to not use Life Blast for that ever to be correct choice, very much.
I could never do that. I mean, like life blasts are like so broken.
I hope they change it to no suffix thing.
I think we're not gonna have harvest and chance anymore for them, which is gonna be like one step to that.
Probably.
Probably true, because they are
Right.
kind of extra, right, with instilling orbs.
Yeah, like and kindling orbs give you what you need for utility flasks, and those working on life flasks ever was just kind of like weird.
That's true. That could be some of the filler crafts they were talking about, right?
I mean, I could definitely see them removing that, because like it kind of makes the orbs like way less useful, right? You only really use them with like Mage Blood. At least they're like the bossing ones.
I think like enkindling orb effect, reduced mana cost for divine blessing is going to be a thing that is used a lot.
Oh, that is true.
Softcore trade, you just go alternate quality inspiration, alt quality increased duration, and all quality divine blessing, and like one other mod on something like a ring or something, you're done. It's like it's so easy.
Easily spend
Or
20 divines on gems.
dude, those things
What
like some
the
of those gems
fuck? 20%? What is this duration one? I didn't know about this one.
are... you just saw. It's so good, right?
20?
It is so good. It's 20.
I knew about inspiration and divine blessing, which are 10% and 5%. Why the fuck is this 20?
Haha.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wait,
dude.
that
I
is
put it in my
insane.
Yeah, I didn't know
POVs.
about that
It
one.
is so good.
And it's on a gem you actually want. That's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm
Well,
a
damn,
gem
I need to
researcher.
update all my POBs.
I have to go into heist. There's not enough Atlas points. There's not. I need expedition, essence, harvest, heist, shrines, and like what?
Wait, so
It's
you
not
don't
gonna
need
happen.
Vertex?
You know what the
Where are
best
people
part
on
about that
Vertex?
gem is? I'll tell you the best part about that gem.
Procs
I think it's
adrenaline.
a common multiplier, so you can just use the div cards to get, secondary regrading lenses and just make
20
one
weight
yourself.
out of 70.
Is it oh, it's actually no, it's not good.
It's not bad.
It's like 1 out of 3, right?
Yeah.
Almost.
I mean, considering that's potentially replacing having to farm Uber at Zuri for a Vertex helmet.
Yeah. I don't think
Not
it's gonna be
bad.
too terrible getting one, but
I mean,
it's pretty good.
It was 20C before you mentioned it. Now it's gonna be like 20 divines.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. No one's gonna. Secondary regrading lenses are going to be cheap this league because of the new divination card, and we're just going to be able to get any gem we want, no copium.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Divination, I feel like the div card is gonna be super rare and dropping from like a really weird content.
Stack decks, software trade.
Yeah, dropping from stack decks. I hope it's a mapping thing.
Anything that increases secondary regrading lenses is a good thing. Like anything, because they're just too expensive. But yeah, for like softcore trade, like Divine Blessing nerfs did like almost nothing, and in like 3 days, everyone's gonna have their build online, like just tireless plus those 3 mods, boom, Divine Blessing on every single build, right? Or just mana mods on rings and stuff like that. Or Mage Blood users just have it for free. That's why I think the nerf was garbage. They basically just hit the league that it's actually balanced for.
I feel like Divine Blessing was strong, but like 1, it had life cost. 2, it had socket cost. Like yes, it did feel like half mandatory, but it also like wasn't free.
Yeah, I thought it was balanced for.
I think the problem is it still feels kind of mandatory. You just have to jump through some extra hoops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
it's still
guess.
really good and it's still attainable even in self-found. Like I'm gonna have it on every build that I have the sockets for it if I want it.
It's the same
The
thing
only
as
builds that-
suppression. If you
Yeah,
think
I was
about it.
about to say, same as suppression.
Which I mean, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing that we still have these powerful mechanics that are harder to obtain? Like, would you rather they just make it so that like Divine Blessing has half aura effect and suppression is like half as strong?
What if the divine blessing power, like the aura effect scale with the mana you spend, like actual mana keyword? Because then you
That could make
actually
sense.
like force people to pay the mana cost, right? Which is like what I guess they were aiming to do.
Yeah, and that is their intentional like design goal with the Divine Blessing.
And it would help the builds that kind of need it, right? Like Archmage, I guess. Like
I mean,
MOM
the
builds.
problem with Divine Blessing is their actual intentional design for it has almost no actual use cases.
Are you saying
It's
mana
like
builds aren't good?
specifically Archmage, but it's not even that. It's because it's specifically Archmage that's getting some other free aura somewhere else. Because if you're not using any other auras, you would just use the other blessing support that gives you it for actually free.
I think Divine Blessing has a higher like multiplier, but I definitely would agree. Just use the permanent one on those builds.
And
Those
this,
builds need some
oh,
help.
this one has reduced aura
Mostly
effect.
mana
I
regen, I
see.
think. Like I think if you fix mana regen, you can justify playing them. Just the mana regen is like impossible right now. I think there's just not enough of it in the game.
How come I can't use Eternal Blessing with Spellslinger? What's up with that?
I don't know. But do we talk about the reservation changes yet?
Does that break one of your builds?
I mean, it makes my builds worse for sure.
I mean,
It
everyone
actually
took
made
it,
one of
though.
mine better.
Like, it's so weird, right? Everyone took it, but at the same time, like, it felt like it served a purpose because it is nice to be able to fit in more auras. It gives you more options, different avenues to build a character. Like, we're still gonna have to fit in the defensive auras, but with the extra reservation, we could have fit in, like, I don't know, Herald of Agony, Purity, Ash, something like utility stuff, right? But when I open PoE Ninja and I see 90% people have it clicked, like, it's a problem, right, for GGG. They don't want it to be mandatory.
Thing I don't understand about them is why do they like making things that are like shit? Like they could have made Arctic armor useful, right? They could have just said, "Oh, you get 20% fizz as taken as cold, and then 20% fire taken as cold," and it would have been like a usable thing. Like you guys would probably use that at some point, right? In some character, if you had like 20% extra freaking reservation. But they just make, I don't know, they just like making shit things that nobody wants to use.
What? They're gonna spend time looking for more uses of standing still in future content.
Yeah, just
You just have
take
to
it.
be patient, dude.
I mean, I don't know if you guys saw how I fought Searing Exile on ED. Arctic armor would be pretty good there. You just stand still and you hold blight.
Yeah, I saw that. I definitely think there is a use case for it on that. 'Cause if you stand still on that fight and you just have a Ruby Flask up, it's actually much safer than like panicking and trying to dodge.
Yeah, but
Bro,
if
you
it's
just
one
play
fight, that's
your
not good enough.
everything
said that-
taken as fire character and you use Arctic armor and you're even better and you don't have to dodge anything.
I mean, I did say that too when Arctic armor got spoiled, but I feel like there's too many gaps in the defenses now where they needed to use those auras to fill the holes now. So people don't have to run like determination, like ES builds, and or determination in general. I feel like the Gracious mod should have been put on shield also, and that Arctic armor should have given this taken as, so you can piece together like a whole like build without determination, because it's pretty suicidal to play without it for right now, right? And you need an X amount of gear or like a lightning coil or something.
I
feel like
definitely
I've
agree
seen
with the
like
shield
3
thing.
builds in the last 3 leagues that were good without determination. One of them was Waggle's build. But like other than that, it's
Which
just
one
like
was that?
the Bane. Like the defenses on the Bane was like fine.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was before the new Ubers, which it wouldn't have been an Ubers build. It's a Bane build. That's not a bossing skill, regardless of what some people might say.
Like all of these things still have an opportunity cost, right? It's not like we get them for free. Why not just give people useful choices right now? That's what I'm wondering. If they wanted to make some stationary stuff later, they can just put it together in like one patch. Oh, we were unleashing this package of stationary stuff, so you could just stand there. But for right now, they should have.
What if it was like kind of similar to Intensify with Arctic armor, where after you stood still for like a second, it had full power, and then it slowly faded away as you ran,
Oh,
instead of
that's
just
really good. I like that.
binary on off.
It'd actually be
That
usable
could-
if that was the case.
I would use
Yeah.
that on like Champ Helix
I like that too.
if I had the mana, for example. Or like any
Definitely.
build really. Like you could fit it in
You
if
mean-
you had the extra mana.
You mean sort of like an elusive where you stand still and then you gain a buff and then like that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it would work well if it was like Intensify. I agree. I hope they do something like that. I think that's the future of this like standing still. It cannot just drop everything the second you move 1 inch.
Unless it's as strong as Ralakesh boots, they can get away with it.
True.
Oh, Relicash boots are insane. I'm gonna have so much fun this league with them. I think the min power charges and endurance charges and frenzy charges jewels will be used too. They're like really good for
Oh,
a lot of
100%.
different builds.
I think they're good, but it's gonna be difficult to fit in softcore because you want Forbidden Flash, Flame, you want Watcher's Eye.
True.
Is Frenzy
okay,
and Power
I'll-
confirmed?
No, but they said there's 4 more Grand Spectrums coming, so we are just
Go
assuming.
check the spoilers. Is there a green one and a blue one that haven't been revealed?
It's pretty likely if there's 4 more coming that they're all going to come. I definitely like Endurance and Frenzy. Like Endurance Frenzy plus like just like one of the generic damage ones.
45% ally
Like
damage,
45
Especially-
Aurora is
damage.
pretty good.
In Self-Found, crafting jewels is over. Like they added
It's
a life
such a pain in
suffix.
the ass.
Can't even
And
divine.
you're gonna have way less life reforges unless you farm fossils. Fossils are actually really good for making life jewels.
Kind of. Depends on what you want with the life.
You can use
Yeah.
blue, like for chaos builds, you can use blue. Like chaos reforge, I guess, in jewels.
Yeah, kind of. I think the days of like skipping 2 passive jewels until way later in progression are gonna return because it's just gonna be too hard to craft the jewels now. Unless there's no other good yellow like life force.
Wait, hold up. What if you outroll a jewel, you regal it, and then you exalt it?
I'm pretty sure life is
Oh.
like it's like 85
Well-
alts for life on like non-abyss jewels. Abyss jewels are super easy to roll, but like normal jewels, life is so rare.
You can't fracture jewels, right? It has to have 3, right?
Correct. There's not enough mods.
Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
You can just like do ritual though and get fractured jewels, right?
Or heist.
You're
gonna be
doing it
anyways, right?
Or heist, dude? You guys just say
Yeah,
ritual or
fun
heist?
content. Come on, dude, just farm the items. I still hate like why can't you put harvest implicits on fractured items on jewels? It's so weird.
I don't mind it. I feel like when I played Trade League, it made it a decision whether I want to use a fractured item to craft or non-fractured.
I guess that makes sense in trade league.
I don't
In
like it
SSF, it
regardless.
feels like you don't want to use fractured because you probably plan to build around having like an exact amount of implicits, huh?
Yeah. Is there like a clean solution to getting a small amount of avoid ailments somewhere? Like 5%?
Besides a jewel?
Yeah, because like so many of these POBs I'm making rely on
Quality grace.
fucking heist. Of course
okay.
it's heist. Why'd I ask?
I have the
It's
solution.
heist.
Are you ready for it? Kraton.
Yeah.
It's not even bad. 6
Wait,
move
wait,
speed,
does that
attack
actually
speed, and
give it?
10% avoidance.
Yeah.
Yo,
it can-
I'm taking that. I'm actually gonna take that.
Yeah, Conqueror's longevity is actually pretty good, right? It has suppressed spell damage and avoid elements. In
How
one
much?
jewel.
I think it's
5 suppression, 10 avoid elements.
Yo, I'm so glad I asked. Those are both really good solutions. Because like the end game solution is you just need to Orb of Conflict up avoid elements on boots to the 4th rank. But like before that, it's cringe.
And longevity is really good right
Yeah.
now, I think, too. And Kraton is good too. Like, it's not
You
even
get
bad.
it for free.
3% suppressed, 10% avoidance.
That 3 suppress is so
saves you
important.
a divine on your
Dude,
rare.
My Sunder POB is bricked now because of
Your
the divine changes.
what
It's
POB?
exact 100%. Sunder.
Your son. Did you just say Sunder?
Sunder's good. It's actually good.
Are you using Hydrosphere?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
And
just like
watch-
it has potential.
like picture the scenario, right? You walk around and you attack once every 2 seconds on melee, and you can do it from range, and it hits for 10 million every attack. Like, how is that bad? Aside from the fact that it can't clear maps, has to use Call of Steel, attacks low as fuck.
I've
Yeah,
watched Havoc clear
has
map
12
on Sunder,
buttons,
and
has
I'm not
no
playing it.
evasion, degens. But aside from all that,
I'd recommend clicking Havoc's YouTube and checking Sunder gameplay. He died
Yeah.
like almost 10 times to one Harvey Peg. But I do think Sunder is like okay-ish.
it's
now.
playable. I think Earthshatter is better still, probably.
Yeah. So is Rage Vortex probably, right?
Yeah, probably. Every build that I'm comfortable in both the gearing and the bossing, the mapping is just like,
Maybe you play 2 builds in Gauntlet.
maybe. I think the tech is just get better at bossing, so you can just boss on like Arc, and then you just play builds that are only good at mapping, and just play well on the bosses.
Maybe just play Seismic so you don't have to practice.
Seismic? What if we're actually all stupid and it's actually just going to be Seismic again?
I mean, the POB doesn't look bad, the one that I sent you. It's definitely a little squishier, but like definitely damage is still there.
It's definitely playable.
Even if you travel to Marauder, it's not even that squishy.
Ghost Rods are like, they're kind of good. I mean, I guess we took off Grace anyways for so many of the bosses.
Yeah. Like you didn't play
Fuck,
Grace
dude.
on like half the bosses.
What if it's actually Seismic?
Don't say that. People are gonna be just don't play it. Like make a pact with Nick to not play Seismic. It doesn't matter what others play, but like I
Alright.
don't think people want to see you guys play Seismic again.
Make a pact to not play skills. That'll go well again.
Yeah, just don't tell Hubu, dude. And well, actually, it was all Steel Mage's fault. That time.
I'm so glad that pack died because the Ubers were actually hard. If I went in there on Bone Shatter, oh my god.
It would still be 1 out of 7, literally fewer Ubers than Quinn right now.
I started on Lightning Trap, and every second rare mob was immune to shock, and I lost 70% of my damage.
That's fixed now, right?
Yeah, they fixed it like a couple weeks in.
That's brutal. Did you not know that it was bugged at that time with the alt quality?
No, I knew that was bad. I think I was gonna switch to Spark eventually, Spark traps, because they were just kind of better.
Yeah,
But it was
Spark
like
traps
those
and Spark
Lightning Trap plus Sab, you get like 200 and something % crit chance conditionally when they're shocked, plus a giant shock, plus like I forget some other stuff where like when mobs were specifically immune, it just completely ruined you.
I mean, that's gonna be fun for Lightning Conduit when you run into those specs with 80% shock reduction.
Just walk on past
You
them,
just
just like every
prolift the
4 mod.
bigger shock. Wait, how does prolift work with that? Like if you get a big shock on a mob next to it, does the
They just have
reduction
reduced shock
apply?
effect, right? So
It should still be reduced.
Dang.
I think the only time it's not reduced if it's reflected shock onto
Oh, from
because
like
I know
a
anything that
shield.
like if anything that reflects an element back at you, it's the enemies or the whatever reflected it. But anything that prolif, it's gonna get reduced. I'm pretty sure.
You just skip those mobs. It's fine. You don't need to kill
yeah, you
every
actually
rare.
skip those back. But then you realize half of the map is that back, and you're
It's
just skipping
Bone
half of the map.
Oh, it's Bone Shatter all over again. All right, I'm not playing it. You've convinced me. Actually, wait, it's reduced, right? It's not
Yeah.
less. So,
Yeah, it's reduced.
oh yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter.
It's
gonna do
you're gonna be like
anything.
half shot,
Dude,
which is
dude,
good enough.
Oh,
Lightning
if it's
Conduit
reduced, it
does
doesn't
so much.
matter.
Lightning Conduit does so much damage. It's not even gonna like even if it's less, you're still gonna freaking 2-shot it.
On a Crush Claw, he would kill me easily.
It's fine. There's gonna be like 1 Crash Claw for like 5 harvests, dude. Now
That's
at
one too
most.
many, man.
Skip
But
it.
you're also
I-
clicking the harvest node that gives them like double HP.
Wait,
'cause you
we will
need it.
actually know what's on the harvest now.
Yep. It doesn't give it HP, right? It's just more monsters.
It used to. I don't remember actually.
I mean,
Maybe it
right
was
now
just
it's more monsters and more XP. That's all it is right now. And they said they nerfed the XP or the more monsters.
You know what's really good for harvest? Inferno Blow. Or
Is it
not Inferno Blow.
Cry?
Infernal Cry. Oh
Yeah.
my god, dude, that thing
True.
is insane,
But
dude.
Harvest is going to spawn staggered now,
That sounds
which
so
might
annoying.
be annoying for that, but we'll see.
You know what build uses Infernal Cry? Explosive Arrow.
Okay.
I would rather play Elemental as DD, I think. Elemental as DD actually doesn't look awful, but it's like the same as Seismic. You don't want to play a nerf version of something you played before, unless you
Yeah.
have to.
I think it'd feel very squishy compared to what you're used to on old DD. Like if you were scared to go Flesh Offering DD last patch, you can't even consider playing the non or the non-Necker version.
It's just so much. It's gonna be so much slower too. Your speed.
And no attack speed,
Gonna
no
get
cast
hit.
speed.
Yeah.
Look at core
That's why
fluctuations
Vortex
anyways.
on Elementalist is so good. Instant cast. Run into mobs, they die. Too good.
I don't think you can convince anyone here about Elemental as Vortex. I'm gonna be real. Nah, I think it's a good build. Just it takes too long to come online, and for like hardcore, it's like missing a little bit of defense,
Yeah.
just like most Twitch
It's-
builds.
It got replaced by Frostblink. Sorry.
No, dude, Frostblink Ignite is garbage. Waggle, if you play that build for 5 minutes, you would hate it. It is absolute garbage. I tried for 1 day, I couldn't even do it.
What's bad?
Like when you boss on Ubers, you have no flame dash, so you're just like running around like abilities that you normally just flame dash through because you need to use your cooldown to do damage. It's dog shit. I did like 2 Mavens with it. I wanted to hurt myself after.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
Yeah.
a bosser, but like it's like leaping around, killing packs with Frostblink. That sounds like a vibe. If it did damage.
I feel like Vortex is just better now. Anyways.
Yeah, you could just literally do the same thing with shield charge, and then the vortex is instant right under the shield charge, and it kills everything, right? And you can do bosses better because you just don't
Yep.
take any damage.
I'm convinced. I'm playing Vortex when we start.
I mean, it's
Send
fine
the
in
pop.
Trade League, I think. But I think you need the
Follow the
all-hour
sheep.
skin.
You can't even play vortex in like well anymore. They removed Frostferno, so it doesn't even come online until like you have to play walk for so long now.
I'm telling you, dude. Just gotta freeze.
I mean, I have that jewel in my like endgame POB for occultist for bossing, but like I don't have that helm right in my endgame POB because it's so hard to get suppression cap now. Like, how are you gonna get skin and wear that helm?
What if you just
Because
don't
you're
go
not gonna
suppression?
don't go suppression. Oh yeah, we go.
I mean, you don't need it for mapping, honestly. If your build has like decent other defenses, it's just bosses. Like the pen means it's mandatory to fight any Uber boss, but everything else it's fine.
Yeah, for you guys, because you guys can dodge abilities. Me, I'm too busy reading all the XDDs in chat every single day to pay attention. So I'm there
You
too
just gotta-
busy counting them.
You got a serpentine when you're mapping, and that's fine.
I still don't have 7TV turned on from my Twitch so that I can't see that emote.
Dude,
Wow.
Vago's Switch is so troll. You go there, you type an emote, and it shows a different emote.
Waggle, please.
Oh yeah, that too.
I mean, I
Just
know
join the
Ben streamed
memes.
like that forever, where he didn't have emotes. I don't know if you have now or not.
I have some. I'm halfway there.
See, what happened with me was whenever the 7TV first started like getting popular, and there's like those generic ones or whatever that all have 7TV in the name, I was just like, that's stupid, so I'm never gonna use this. Just because I didn't like that.
I feel like we forgot to talk about a few things.
Was
What
there
do
a
you
list of
think, guys?
topics?
It was we
Ventura made
covered
one, right?
them pretty much. What did you want to talk about? We didn't.
I'm trying to think right now. You guys carry on and let me think about the things we missed.
Good luck.
I think we covered like most of the stuff. I mean, doesn't like covered the league starters, uniques. The league starters are hard to cover because like we don't even know which league we are starting, right? Like can't really cover too much. Do you guys have any like POBs, like or like guides planned and whatnot? Waggle, Ben.
I'm gonna make a like Like not like a super in-depth guide, but like something for whatever I choose to play, just so I don't have to answer the same question in chat like all the time.
When you
Yeah,
You
the
do
only
choose a
actual POB I finished was CI Spark Trickster, which is good for what it is, but it's a CI build, so it's actually not that good, and I wouldn't recommend really playing it unless you wanted to.
when you guys are choosing a build, can you keep in mind to try to choose a physical poison build so I can put Ming's Heart on it? Thanks, guys.
I feel like Benz is already gonna have Ming's Heart if he plays Fizz Poison.
Probably. I mean, I'm pretty sure using one is correct in hardcore.
Yeah,
If you're playing a Fizz build, like it gives like 70 chaos res too.
it's
like,
legit
yeah.
50% more damage for 25% life. I would always take that.
You just click more life nodes because there's no damage nodes that gives you that much damage.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Like almost all my builds that reach the life wheel don't click any of those nodes. They just like you're already passed to life so frequently now, and you just don't even take it.
Yeah, so you just click those nodes and you just get. It's better than any damage nodes you can take. So
I mean,
yeah, that's what I was looking at it
the-
too.
The best thing I heard about Ming's is like what it does, it converts your 5% life node into 14% Fizz extra chaos. I would click those any day, right? Like that's pretty good.
Almost, and you lose a
And you lose
600
a
life
ring.
per million ring and
Oh yeah,
some
speaking
stuff.
of
But
losing
I mean,
rings, what do you think of Ming's Heart? Like, do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? It
Ming's
definitely
Heart
has use.
is that the Physics Chaos one?
Oh, sorry, not Ming's Heart. Death Rush is what I meant. Sorry.
Okay, I thought you were trolling. I was so confused.
Sorry, I meant Dev's Heart. Oh,
I wish they just kept the life on it. Like, why does it need to be a 2-mod unique? Just life mods are okay. They're allowed to exist on uniques.
They nerfed my hitless build with that change. I'm angry.
no
I
one
think it's
played it,
really good
don't
though.
worry.
Adrenaline is way harder to get like than Onslaught, and for people that want to go fast, I mean, after playing Champ and playing this like CF Champ, having Adrenaline is actually insane. It's so powerful, and the Fizz DR is better than a life mod for any physical hit. So it's probably just better than it was before. Just full stop.
Adrenaline is really crazy. It made Champion really fun too.
Yeah. Like my guy has hybrid life boots, and I just crafted life instead of move speed because you're just so fast already. You just leap.
Do you think that Onslaught helmet that they showed is divinable and has other mods on it
Elusive,
instead
maybe?
of Onslaught?
Oh,
Tailwind?
that's what people on
Elusive?
Reddit were saying. They were like, they can't possibly make a unique this shitty.
If it's just Onslaught, I will never equip it. Maybe like
That's
minion
cool art
leveling.
though. Like it's a pretty good skin transfer, I think.
True.
Like if it was just Onslaught, they could have just put that helm on any of the shitty helms they missed, right, on the unique rework, and they could have just made a good item. Actually, I don't know why they did that. There has to be other mods that drop from it, right? But what could actually drop from it that would be cool?
I feel like if it's Onslaught, it should have just been level 1. That's my
Or
thought.
increased effect or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely level 1 for sure.
It's like I'm never using that over Goldrim, I feel like.
Same.
I mean, what other buff can they? I don't even think if there's many buffs like that, like Onslaught. That could be on the helm.
Unholy
They're not going to give you.
Might.
They're not going to
Elusive,
give you
Tailwind,
Soul Eater.
Adrenaline.
Oh,
Elusive on
Unholy
hit.
Might. That's true.
I think Adrenaline is possible. That would be
Adrenaline,
real
but
strong.
Adrenaline is just a better Onslaught.
Yeah, Adrenaline is just
actually, yeah.
strictly better Onslaught.
So
45?
I mean, Unholy Might I can see. There's no way you're getting Soul Eater. You might get Tailwind, but Tailwind and Onslaught are like Rampage.
Rampage.
Rampage would be okay, I guess. But like Rampage while leveling doesn't do much.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that helm very much.
Seems very underwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. There's no more other uniques, right? They spoiled all of them. Just Jewels
Not all
left.
the new stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
all the new
besides
stuff.
Jules.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There was like 2 gloves, which we saw, 2 helm. Wait, we're missing 1 helm, I think. We saw the armor. Oh, we didn't see the quiver. Quiver and Helmet, right? Those are the 2 last ones. Oh, they're going to be good, guys.
And
There's
Quiver
no way
doesn't
those
matter.
uniques are going to be bad.
Who cares what
Quiver,
the Quiver
it's
has?
guaranteed bad.
Yeah.
Unless it lets you shield charge.
Oh, okay.
What's
never
the
mind.
top left thing in that image?
I think that's the Trial Master thing, if it looks weird.
Oh, right. They made it a map. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the Trial Master thing.
Yeah.
So
You're missing this helmet and this
the
Quiver.
cat helmet. Oh my god, it looks like a cat. Oh no.
Oh, that's a dog.
That's definitely a wolf.
Like Dirk Wolf, yeah. Fox, maybe?
Oh no,
That's
man.
Altar
GG's a bunch of
Alphas.
memers, dude.
What if it's just Frostverno reskinned?
Yeah, sure did.
Oh my god, dude. What? I'd be happy with that actually. I don't know why they removed it from the game. Can someone explain to me why do you think they removed Frostverno in the game from the game? It's a good usable helmet.
I think they didn't like Fated Uniques because they felt like it was connected to Prophecy, but it really wasn't. Like, I feel like they could have just left them in the game.
But they kept Aseneth's Doomfletcher, like they put 2
didn't keep
arrows
them,
on.
right? They moved it on the lower version.
Yeah, but they could have just moved Frostverno onto Heat Shiver, except they just completely removed it from the game.
They reworked Thief Shiver to like be interesting. But I feel like we could have had Frostverno and Heat Shiver, and it would have been fine.
Feels bad.
None of those grand spectrums look green to me.
The bottom right one has green.
Is that green? I guess my
That
monitor's
is green,
like
yeah.
coloring is really screwed because of flux, so maybe it's hard
It's
to
definitely
tell.
green. It also
Okay.
looks very similar to the minion. I think they are all gonna be fucking minion jewels, dude. I'm gonna be real with you. I think they are just chart
mean,
jewels and minion
also-
jewels.
Yeah, the all the ones with like the orange outer bits, there's a green stripe, a red stripe, and a blue stripe. And then there's white, green, white, red, white, blue.
Yeah, I think all the grand
Yeah, I
spectrums
see
are
what you
gonna be
mean.
similar.
I think they're usable. I think they're very usable.
I think they're very good with
Yeah.
how much like in Self-On in particular if you ever get them. But I feel like those were already kind of rare.
They are.
Yep.
Yeah. But with the new buffed Arch Nemesis, Chris said you get 4 jewels sometimes from a rare. So
Do you guys think that like Archnem conversion stuff is actually going to be like relevant to the point where you like are excited to see a 4-mod Archnem?
I don't think I'm gonna spend enough time
Unless
this
it drops
entire
divines,
league
no.
correlating which Archnem mod has which reward type conversions.
What
And I'm
about
just
farming
gonna kill
Metamorph
things.
though? And like putting in the thing you want?
Metamorph, what's that?
What do you mean? You can pick the Archnem mod and target
Yeah.
things you want.
And then you pick an Archnem mod with like 4 metamorph mods. Or like 4 metamorph with 4 Archnem mods. That's gonna go well.
Yeah, it'll go great. They don't sell ads anymore. Like they're gonna be such a vibe. They just like it's just a one Metamorph guy chilling.
You know flash charges.
is that
Just
actually
put 'em
a
out.
good thing though?
It's definitely a good thing if your build is like good. I guess I don't know. I mean,
I feel like all the builds that have like super good clear speed, like all your mappers had some sort of explosion and all the ads just kill the metamorph for you.
yeah, but they all have on death. It's like I'm chilling until it's 75, and then 2 revenants spawn. There's 15 lightning mirages on my feet. There's cold shit on the ground, and I'm not
That's
happy.
true.
And now I'm just gonna be like, it's just a metamorph. He's just me and him.
That's true.
Well, I think we covered pretty much everything.
No,
Do you
I
guys
think
have
it's gonna
any
make a difference.
closing
I think
thoughts?
I like the Archnem mod or the Archnem change actually. It was kind of getting tiring to just not even. Well, I hope that it actually makes a difference because I haven't played it. I don't know yet, right? Because right now you just literally after like 3 days you just run through the map and then all the rares explode in Trade League and then you don't even see them half the time.
That's
So-
good. Dude, if there's ever a scenario where you see a rare, I can't kill it. That's my mortal enemy.
Yeah, especially if you play
I
Helix
mean, a
Champ,
lot of the
dude.
times now we just run through like a map and like everything just explodes or dies or whatever. So
There's no way you play Helix Champ and you will have a vibe when you encounter like a 4-mode Metamorph man.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no,
that's gonna be
that build's
painful.
not killing those. But Spark Mines might, because you can spawn it in a corner.
yeah, that's actually really OP. You're gonna get like 3 hits from every spark like immediately. And then if you like spawn it on like a corridor, the thing is gonna die like instantly.
Yep.
You just have to
I
pick like your spots, right?
I can't wait for the Atlas. I love getting the new Atlas and then going through and figuring out which maps are going to be good. Like this league had decent maps. We had like Strand Park, we had Barrows Fields, we had Crimson Temple Shore, but oh dude,
I mean,
what if
like
we get
next
like
thing,
linear ones again?
but if you're gonna farm Villa next map for Divine Orbs, right? Like that map is really really good for Metamorph if you're using Spark Traps because you just exit the boss chamber, you go into one of those small rooms, right? And then you're just gonna delete it from the game in like 2 seconds.
There's nothing good next to Villa. You're gonna farm
No,
like
the
Engine
Villa
City.
Villa has those little small rooms, right?
Yeah.
Where you just freaking like drop a Metamorph.
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
gonna be
saying
fine. But
connected
like,
maps?
what are you gonna run on top of Villa? Like those two maps connected to it is like Colosseum and Ancient City, dude. It's gonna be such a miserable experience for us and SSF trying to sustain the two maps. Yeah, the Atlas pick is real, by the way.
It is? Oh shit. Alright, well, I got some stuff to do.
Yeah, it's exclamation mark Atlas in my chat if you wanna click it. Apparently Colosseum is
Wow, they
misnamed.
fucked Villa.
Wow. All right, guys. Divines are going to be
Colosseum
500C. It's
is
over.
Forking River
It's
Ashenwood
all
instead,
over.
which is even
Dunes.
worse.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Ashenwood
they made
Dunes.
Ashenwood better?
That is insane. And Wastepool's there too. Although, why does Wastepool have 10 seconds of boss RP? Like, just be in the room when I enter the room. Is that asking too much?
Not enough friction. Yes.
Cemetery alleyways too. Like,
There's
this
some
is a
good
really good
combinations.
Atlas.
There's like what is it? Crimson Township Atoll, for example. And then there's like Crimson Temple something. Like there's some nice stuff.
There's Defiled Cathedral Atoll as well, if you're into like the linear stuff. There's a lot of really good combos here.
There's also
What's Silo next to?
Silo Alleyways is really good for like XP blasting. Just
Is
skip
Silo good?
boss. Yeah, if you skip boss, it's the
Silo's
best
really
map in the
good. Oh, yeah,
game
it's super
by
good.
far.
The boss is
Like-
kind of annoying though.
If you play Grand Design Silo, it's only mobs. It doesn't have like empty space. It's literally just mobs.
I've noticed Silo boss, like the blues that spawn, actually drop stuff like decently. So even if it's bad for like time, for sustained, it isn't terrible.
Dude, Silo boss is perfect. You have time to boot swap, glove swap. It's amazing.
This Park Crimson Temple too.
Yeah, Park Crimson
I mean-
sounds really nice.
Like at the end of like Sentinel, right? You could sustain like glaciers with Sentinel just with that one node. Whatever it's called. The
Dude,
the
it
node
was
where
pretty
you
rough.
only drop that one map that you favorited. So with if the new league mechanic is anywhere near Sentinel's power, you should be able to do the same.
I
right?
wasn't really sustaining. I ran like 300 glaciers and lost 60 when doing it, but that was like Chisel Alk Expedition Scarab.
Really? Like when I was doing Crimson without singular focus, I lost about 4 maps per 20, and with singular, I easily sustained with just Chisel Alk Sextant.
Not sure.
I feel
why
like
didn't
that
do.
was the same.
Maybe I didn't click enough notes. I don't remember what my atlas was.
I did have full 200% 4 Void Stones.
I played for Void Stones as well.
I had Grand Design on and I was okay. And people were saying Grand Design is really, really bad.
It does make your map stand a little worse, but it should be fine if you add a little extra juice.
Grand Design feels so good to play. Like I played
Warpshore-
ED, right? But even on other builds, but like on ED, it like made the build from trash to like actually feeling really good.
This Atlas is so amazing. I just keep going to a new section. There's just more good maps.
Yeah,
Like
apparently-
fusing div cards are connected. Like, oh my god.
I think the map next to Villa is actually Fork in the River, not Colosseum, which is not really much better.
They added a lot of bad maps to the set list, though.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of shit ones, but as long as there's like 4 different combos of 2 good maps together, I don't care about the other 110 maps on here.
Yeah, exactly. You just need 2 connected maps, right? And then everything else is irrelevant.
Is Forking River? Oh wait, is Forking River Solaris Lunaris, or is that the?
No, it's
It
the
is.
like water thing at the end.
Oh no! It's the one. Yeah, the pool.
It's the water boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
feel
map
like
is
that
so
map's
long.
not terrible. It's like
It's
a little
so
too
long.
wide, but like
No, I don't like that map at all. It
I
goes
don't
into
like
like
it at
very
all.
like thin like corridors too.
yeah, I definitely don't like it. It's too big. Like small maps are and probably always will be king when you're trying to like hunt essences. That's why I mean Dune's Ashenwood is undisputed the best because they're just so tiny. They're so
Atoll Mud
fast.
Geyser's pretty correct.
Yeah. I think people will just blast Atoll Mud Geyser a lot.
Dude,
Like, just
Mudgeyser
because they enjoy it
bosses.
more.
I can't find them, man. I gotta run Metamorph.
I ran like 1,000 Mud Geysers this league. You get used to finding them.
What
How
was
many
Strand
mud
connected
geysers?
to?
Like 1,000. It was connected to Ashenwood.
Oh, yeah,
Ashenwood
it's-
Mud Geyser was faster boss rushing than Shore Crimson.
Wait, how are you gonna? But what if you're playing Bone Shatter? Can you still find? Can you still farm Atoll?
No,
Oh.
definitely not.
I
That
think you
clip,
can
dude.
with Icicle Mines.
Is that
it
a
was
build?
Or no, I have Winter Mines. I always
Oh.
forget the school name.
Dude, that clip is the
Oh
first.
my
That clip is the
God,
first
dude.
thing that made Bone Shatter Slayer on Atoll look good.
Was that Tai Tai doing the boss, I think?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was really good.
I can't believe how many people think that build is actually good.
I feel like if I want to play like ZHP, Z defense build in softcore, I just load up Maw or Seismic.
Yeah, dude, you just go get Seismic, you put in 2 Ming's Heart, get freaking 3,000 life, you still have
Hey.
defenses, and you're gonna one-shot every single boss in the game, right?
To be fair, they didn't know about Ming's Heart yet.
True.
But
Maw is
once you
good, though.
know, you should just be like, yo, guys, don't play this, right? But then, like, these guys are like, oh my god, this build's still good. Double down, guys. Double
It's too
down.
late after 3 YouTube videos.
And
to change.
Inquisitor is really comfy. I definitely think the Inquisitor mine whole archetype is really good and versatile to a lot of different spells.
Why do you think it's better than Traps? Like if you go Sunblast Spark instead.
Because that's a unique item that I don't have. I haven't even looked at like PoB stuff for that at all. But one thing that's kind of nice about mines is they don't have to be procced. You can just like left click them, and it's basically like self cast in terms of the delay. Like there is no delay compared to traps, and then also the mine throwing speed crafts are on better slots, so you get 1 extra roll there. It's just like small stuff. The mine nodes are really powerful. The trap nodes you have to path like below shadow to get frenzies, and like it's kind of far. I don't know. It's possible this PoE is garbage. I'm gonna test it today and then actually try to play it. See how it goes.
I feel like your build is just so insane on Inquis in general. So comfy. Do you know if it still works with EB, right? If you go EB MOM, you can still use Life Loss to recover, yes?
It should. I don't see why I wouldn't. But that would. I mean, I guess that's still the same thing as long as it might never matter. Yeah, that build is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the meta in hardcore right now. It's like no one knows what's best. I mean, sure, you can argue that Helix is the best or whatever, but like no one is like excited and being like, "Oh, dude, this is 100% the best build." Like,
I
there's a lot of
don't.
exploration.
I don't think it's the best, but I know it's good enough to do everything that I need to do, and it's just like a comfort thing that you can practice easily. But there's definitely going to be some better stuff that gets discovered over the next few weeks.
I think so too. I think a lot of the stuff is gonna be, it's gonna come after league start. You're gonna see these Reddit posts about what's broken, what unique that, has some interaction none of us thought about. It's
I mean,
gonna
a
happen.
lot of it depends on just which uniques are, how rare they are. Like if Sunblast is still super common and everybody can get it day 1, then that adds a ton of value to SAB builds.
Dude, imagine you roll day 1, Ice Trapper, and then you realize Sunblast is like 40 divines, and you have to play Ice Trapper without Sunblast. And it's just gonna be like ZDPS and bad skill.
At that point, you could just switch to any of the other trap skills, right?
Like explosive
And it
weapons,
wouldn't.
yeah.
You can. It doesn't even matter. You could just switch like really fast. It's not going to take more than like 20 regrets. I guess you have to level another gem, but then you could just preemptively level that gem, right? Knowing that you're not going to get Sunblast. Oh my god.
Wait, surely we get harvest the gem sacrifice crabs, right? They're not removing those. Those weren't filler crabs, right?
I hope we
I mean,
keep those because they're so powerful for like League Start Day 1 for getting instant level 20 and stuff.
They might just make Oshabi the source of lenses.
Oh, true.
Oh, I could see that.
Boss event info.
Oh, pulling it on stream. It looks like it's Uber's, dude.
Yes, sir. And Cortex included. God bless.
Alienware
wait, it's
laptop
Ubers?
and Ultra VIP ticket to ExileCon.
Wait, it's not unique. Oh yeah, they said they weren't going to do uniques. Can
It's
you zoom in a
Ascendancy
little
race,
bit?
by the way. That's kind of
Flight's
cool.
not included. Oh, fuck.
Oh, wait.
Ticket only flights and accommodation are not included.
Wait, first in Ascendancy class. Wait,
That's cool, though. The
That's just
Ascendancy
MTX,
race is
right?
cool. Yeah, it's MTX.
no flight? Oh my god. They couldn't shell out the one, like the $1,500 to fly someone there for winning?
Dude,
Are
it's
you kidding
fine.
me?
It literally says it's sellable. Okay.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
I mean, you
You
sell
can
it
sell
and
the
then you buy a
laptop
normal
and the
ExileCon
ticket.
ticket.
No! There's a laptop. Fuck!
Yeah.
I can't win!
Let's go.
Oh, do you always lose
I'm
laptop
bringing out
races?
the
Yes, dude.
winter
And
brand.
both laptop races. It's
I mean, Waggle's winning.
yeah.
Went well
GG
last time.
Waggle. GG.
I like the Ascendancy race. Yeah. If like some people might reroll for it, probably not, because it's like doing Uber on every Ascendancy sounds painful. But like, let's say it's like 2 months into the league, you have a mage bot and Deadeye wasn't taken, you just reroll a Deadeye to grab it. You know, why not? I mean, it's top 2, by the way, only. No,
Not
top 3, top 3.
Okay, but how about this? Make it your goal the entire league
To get
to
as
kill
many as
full
possible.
clear on every single ascendancy for all the Godslayer's brides.
Do you think you could clear 19 times 7 Ubers? Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
It sounds like a good goal for someone like you, though. I don't know if you're interested.
It's kind
in
of a dick move, though, right?
No. I
Wait,
mean,
do
you
you have
did the
to do
same
it
thing
on?
in Gauntlet. You can do it here.
Can you reuse the same skill?
Yeah, you can reuse all the gear and everything if you want.
Then you
Unless
can
it says
definitely
somewhere
do
that
it.
you can't.
You must kill all of them on a single character, by the way. No Slayer call.
Changing your ascendancy class during the event will cause you to be disqualified from earning prizes.
Doesn't say that you are only eligible for one of them.
Does that mean if you change your ascendancy class, you can't get anything? I mean, that's what it says.
Hey, just qualified.
I would assume it means for the first in Ascendancy class. But yeah, it does say disqualify. I mean, you might be right. I wouldn't try to respec.
I mean, that just means you have to re-level a new class to do different different ascendancy, which
Also,
is fine.
Slayer still works. You just have to do Slayer for all 7.
I mean, the best Slayer in the world is 1 out of 7.
Yeah, you mean your collection character has to not die?
Yeah.
You guys are toxic.
Oh, wait, true. Wait, you can just call on every character. That's toxic.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
You just call out every character and then re-clear without call.
You're just gonna do bosses 19 times on Seismic and then you will call it on every single character.
Oh, wait.
There's nothing that prevents this. But, I mean, no one cares. Like, the only thing that matters is top 3. Like, I think the goal of clearing it on every Ascendancy would be something really cool to watch, personally. Like, I think it would be interesting if you were to go for that.
Well, only if it was actually killing it on the ascendancy, though, not culling. Like, character swap culling on every ascendancy, like that. That would be extremely.
Some people might do it if they want, like, the MTIs, but, like, I don't think you should do it if you're gonna go for, like, all of them.
I definitely wouldn't do that. That's fucked up.
Would be fun to watch, I think. Like, I'm sure people would love to watch hardcore SSF Deadeye boss skills, you know?
I mean, it
And
just
now that you
Helix.
guys know, now that you guys seen the event, what are you guys playing?
Yo, Waggle, you wanna group up in hardcore trade?
I'm not sure
I don't
really,
know.
Rue. Like, I need to test the mind build first. Like, I know Helix can do it on champ, but it's like it's not easy. And if the mind build's OP, then that probably.
Heard after one stream you went to go POB some Bane. How was that?
It's actually pretty close to being good. It's like it's worse than Cold Dot. All it needs is like 30 to 40% more damage on every single chaos skill. Like 2 proj on Soul Rend, minus 200 MS on the cast time, plus for radius on Bane, and then it'd be like fine.
And chill, right?
Nah, just dodge. It's fine. Like the best thing you can do to get better at bossing in this game is to fight a boss in a private league with haste once, and then it's like they're just so slow after that.
I had the same feeling. I logged onto my guy without chill. I think it was the ED guy, and the bosses didn't even feel fast after Gauntlet practice. Like, at all. Like, it was no chill, and the Ubers were like normal speed. I don't know.
You could
Like,
just do it, and like if you're playing hardcore, you could just roll haste on every single boss, right?
Yeah, on the invites that you can roll, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
hate that
Uber
Cortex
Elder
isn't
is the
included.
biggest one that scales with haste. Like Uber Elder with haste is actually disgusting. Like how hard that boss gets, and you can't roll on that one, unfortunately.
Yo, Ben, how you gonna drop Cortex for the race?
I just kill bosses and drop it. I don't know. It worked the last time.
Then
I
you
don't know how I'm gonna
delete
have the points to
Cortex.
spend 13 on synth nodes, but I'll figure it out.
I
'Cause-
kind of wish they did like Actan race.
Because
As weird as it is.
in Gauntlet, I think me and Exile did the same thing. We both had full synth nodes before entering a red map, but like you can't do that with the change to harvest. There's no way you're gonna have gear.
Yeah. At least Ashen with Dunes is like fast farm though. It's kind of nice.
Oh wait, I'm actually a dumbass. I saw Dunes, or sorry, Cemetery Alloys. I was like, oh hell yeah, Exalt div cards are connected.
Nice, dude. Let's go. I mean, I assume you are playing hardcore, so I mean, you will be playing it anyways. What's Waggle
Yeah.
planning?
I still got a POB.
Like, are you
See
planning
if
to play hardcore SSF?
I'd probably start it and then see how that goes for a few days. Most likely. I think it's gonna come down to if I can POB something that I think can actually kill all the bosses that I want to play.
Ben,
So
I'm
like
gonna be real
Lightning
with
Conduit
you.
in quiz.
I think if I actually want to participate in this race, since it's actual Ubers, not just Kalandra, I think I would load up fucking Sabo Seismic.
You think so?
Yeah, or Explosive Trap. I think I would load up Sabo, personally. But like,
I mean, Sabo is really good, and like the thing with Sabo is, I think it's probably a Gauntlet build. So I don't know. I kind of don't want to league start to build that I'm playing Gauntlet just because it causes burnout like a lot.
that is true. Playing, like, I mean, I enjoyed Seismic, but at some point it gets too much, right? I had the same with TR Raider. Like, I enjoyed it, but at some point it was just too many.
You guys don't think Lightning Conduit looks really good on POB?
I think it does
Does?
offensively.
It
Damage
looks
wise. Offense is
insane on
good.
POB. But even if you, I don't, it's just a matter of just gearing right correctly to patch the holes. Because Elemental is 40% slow, or taking shield is half decent. No,
I think the
I
problem is
learned
you don't
that
have the time to gear if the race is to Ubers.
yeah.
I learned that all bosses can't be 40% slowed. They're all capped at 30.
Still worth
Wait, they're all
taking, I
capped
think.
at 30?
Their action speed cannot be reduced below 70%.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, it doesn't really matter. 30 chill means they don't move, pretty much.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they have a line that says that. I assume it works.
I swear, like when I used to play Elementalist with that chill node, like on Cortex and stuff like that, he just gets even slower.
So it shows 40%, but it's 30% chill, right? That's how it would work.
I just posted it in your chat. Like that's just on the thing. And yeah, Ventura, like the debuff will say 40 still.
Yeah.
Because things like Bone Chill will still be 40% chill effect. The boss just isn't being slowed that much. It's the same as like Trickster and stuff.
I guess they had to do that because there's multiple sources of like action speed slow, and they don't want bosses not to move, right?
Yeah, temp chains plus chill stacking and some other things that exist, like I think Maddening Presence does it too. A few other weird things. But I think chill is still mandatory for self-cast, like bossing. It's an insane DPS boost to have chill.
Oh,
Yeah,
just because of
I agree.
uptime, right?
Yeah, it's like bossing on that Helix character with 0% chill. It's doable only because Frostblink is so powerful that you can just effectively move without having to stop attacking. But if you have 30 chill, you can just actually just pretty much free cast and barely ever move.
With Lightning Conduit, if Lightning Conduit and Orbit Storms works exactly how we think it's going to work, I think that build is going to do so much damage.
Do you think Orb is
Yeah.
better than Stormbrand? I guess it probably just does more damage, right?
I think they're. I think on Uber bosses, Stormbrand is probably better, right? Because a
for
lot of them
mapping?
like
Because
for
you can
mapping.
stay
I
further
definitely
away.
think, yeah, I think Orbit Storms is definitely better for mapping because the cast time is a lot faster and it's a lot smoother. I feel like
Yeah,
because
that
all
makes
you need to do
sense.
is hit one mob, right? You hit one mob and then the shock proliferates and you just blow all of them up.
I don't think on Ubers
So-
you would ever want to stand in Orb of Storms. That sounds really annoying, but for mapping, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I mean for normal bosses, Orbit Storms will be fine because you're gonna kill them like 2 seconds, right?
Just
Like the
right
Guardians
click.
and yeah, because that build is going to do so much. I think it's going to do insane amounts of damage. When you get up to Ubers, like when you get up to Ubers, you're going to be like 5-6 million, probably like 7,000 life. Just
Yeah, but it's 5-6
from the
million
POB.
self-cast, right?
Yeah,
So it's like
but
3.
I mean, it's yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, what's the race time prediction for first place, Ben? I mean,
It depends.
it's impossible because Cortex. Let's say if it was 6 without Cortex, what would you predict?
I don't know how many players are going to be like without Cortex.
Yeah.
League starts at 4 p.m. on Friday, right? It's probably Sunday morning, is my guess.
I guess it's 40
Maybe Sunday
hours
night.
since league start. Like,
Yeah, like I definitely expect gearing to be a lot slower this patch. Like if it was last patch, it would be 18 hours. Like last patch gearing with gem changes, it'd be like 18-20 hours one sitting, I think. But like I'm pretty sure gearing is going to be extraordinarily slow this patch.
I agree. I think it's gonna be an interesting race to watch, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna go for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 4 different classes and like 6 different builds have like a reasonable chance of being the right choice.
It's gonna be one of those things. If you die, you are just like you have literally nothing after you die.
Dude,
But
that's
like,
exciting though. Don't you
What do
guys
you
think
mean?
that's exciting?
what, the fact that there's more classes? Yeah, for sure. Like the fact that you have a choice when you
Yeah, that
choose
you
a
don't
build,
know
that's
what's
really
going to
good.
win. You don't know what's the best. That's the part of the excitement of Path of Exile.
I mean,
Yep.
you because the way PoE is right now in terms of skill level, I think you know what's gonna win on like day one because, or like you can get a good guess. You just open Exile stream, you open Ben's stream, and you can get a good guess which skill is gonna win. At least with the current.
But with the new uniques, right?
That's true.
Being that powerful, like what if the guy playing Poison Helix or not Poison Helix or I don't know.
Also,
some-
Cortex
Poison Helix is
RNG
fine.
matters a lot.
I mean,
if someone
I think they're good enough that if you were to drop Sunblast in like Act 8 on like Helix Champ, you would re-roll probably.
Man,
or like they drop like Covenant or something if they're playing like Helix or something, and then they just pop off, right? So I think the new uniques actually makes that much of a difference. There's so many of the good ones. Like even Thunder Fist, right? You drop Thunder Fist and you're playing Conduit, you're to like your automatic 6-link, right? Immediately. And you're just plowing through content.
What class do you even play on Poison Helix? Is that still just a champ?
No, Poison Helix
No.
is like in hardcore. Yes,
Trickster.
assassin.
Assassin, Trickster.
Yeah. Did I have a
Wait,
prediction
can
for
you
the
abuse
race?
elusive for poison builds?
Yes, you can.
with
It's
Night
really
Blade?
strong.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah.
assassin.
I think it's assassin or
Oh, God.
occultist, but for boss it's probably assassin.
It's really strong. That armor's really strong for Helix. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Triple
You
damage.
get junk. You get junk gear, and it's like 5 million Helix damage, like immediately.
I mean, you can just take like Gorata's Molten Strike, but put on Helix and like different gearing a little bit, but
You
pretty
don't
much
need
the
to
same
use that
build.
weird dagger, right?
Yeah, but you don't need to if you use Covenant.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't need to use the
Oh,
weird
yeah.
dagger.
Beanos, I suggest that people use that dagger if they're going to start Helix because it makes the clearing so much better when you're playing trade.
What
You don't
about
want
the
to
unique claw?
Wasp Nest.
I mean, you
Is
need
that thing any
Claw or
good?
Dagger.
Yeah, it's like all of it. All of those things are usable when you have that armor. It just depends.
It's
And
not
that armor
fair.
was a T4 drop, right? So
You need. Still has to be Claw or Dagger. Like you cannot use like a sword randomly.
the Covenant.
We'll see. We'll see. I feel like the race is gonna go this way. Nick is gonna start Ice Trap, hit his life, respect Seismic, win on Seismic.
Is he
Wow.
actually playing Ice Trap? That's his plan.
I mean, I think he was looking at Ice Trap, yeah.
I think he was gonna play hardcore trade though originally. If there wasn't a race thing that he like wanted to do.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like he wanted to have some fun for once.
he had a
instead
lot
of
of fun
playing
last.
Seismic.
He played like Spark Inquest before support and like stuff, and then I think he was enjoying it.
With the support, oh my god, that's so unethical.
Yeah. Dude,
Right,
Oscar.
a male support or a female support?
Now with Oscar. Did Oscar
never
like
mind.
shuffle through like 6 different carries? They all died, and his character is level 100 alive.
I saw he did a delve push. I didn't even know he was going to do it this
Yeah,
year.
he died at like 5.9k.
Same build.
Pretty insane.
Oh, that's actually super insane.
Same build as last league, but better gear because recombinators and trade.
You got it. What depth?
5.9.
59.68.
Damn.
Right?
Damn, that
Insane.
sucks.
That's never getting beaten, right? Anytime
I think
soon.
it will.
I guess.
Apparently the difficulty stopped scaling at 6k too. He was like right at the basically finish line of
Like 6k
that,
is the
at
finish
least.
line of Delve, and he had tripped over his choices and died right beforehand. It's unfortunate.
I wonder what he died to. Didn't get to ask it. Apparently he died to Sentinel counterattack, is what Gucci is saying.
Remove next patch. GG.
Yeah. Wouldn't have died next patch. I guess he has to go again.
I can't play that content anymore for that long.
Delve.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so boring. Old Delve was much more exciting from like a hardcore POV because like it didn't last that long. You were just gonna die eventually because the monsters did so much damage. But this time you just like the life scaling is really lame.
I like
Yeah,
Del
like
was
the current
exciting. It
delve.
was a matter of time before you died. Like you were just clicking down and I died, whatever. You know, like you expected it. Now it's just like you click down and you probably will survive, but there's a chance you will die.
Current
the same.
delve when I watch people push is like they don't really take any damage even though they're super deep, and then just randomly you get overrun and die. Old delve was like when you started getting to that point, it was like every other node you went down to 20% HP, and you were just about to be dead. You just didn't know when.
Yeah, I remember Dan like got hit by a tail swipe once and it was like 19k ES gone. It's like
The
every
Valor?
monster could just one hit you.
I remember
the
Dan had
Devourer as
like
well.
20k ES, and then he got hit by a Devourer for like 17k with like Enfeeble on.
I thought it was because he killed it like after it shot, so his curses fell off
Oh, maybe.
before it hit him.
That was like old tryhard Dan. Now he's just a memer.
He's working.
Goes
He
work.
doesn't have as much time.
Old Dan never went into your chat and just memed on you all day. Now he just
I think he still has fun playing. He's just like doesn't play as much as he used to because like real life obligations and stuff.
that's the same for a lot of us though. It's really hard making content in this game when you have a full-time job. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like when you come home, you're tired and you know what you have to do, but you just like you're kind of just out of it. Dude,
I'm
working just
surprised he
drains
can
you.
do it daily. I'm like pretty impressive, like turning on stream daily while working full time.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't sleep that much, so it's all good. The worst part is like it's okay. I feel like when you just log on, and I feel bad for my viewers sometimes because I feel like I should give them so much better content, like with builds and stuff like that. But my brain is just dead, right? And all I do is just log on and I go kill some monsters because I don't want to think. But in the end, they still get a fair amount. I feel like for someone who has a full-time job.
Do you guys think you're gonna play 3 months this league, or like most of the league? I guess it doesn't. I mean, Waggle already answered it with the World of
Definitely
Warcraft,
not.
but
I think playing a full 3 months is like a trap. If you ever do that, at least for me, like I can't enjoy the next league. I need a break.
I play 3 months, but I don't play I play like 4 different games or 3 different games. I play like SC trade, hardcore SSF, hardcore trade, right? Like it feels
Yeah,
like completely different game.
that makes sense.
I play a lot the first like month and a half, 2 months, and then I just meme for the last month. I'll like stream like every other day, and I just log on, don't play the game, and just make fun of them. But I feel like there's still a lot of exploration to do, especially this league for
Yeah.
build making and stuff. There's like tons of things to test all the time. There's like so many mechanics that like, especially when they change all of these different uniques. There's like so many interactions that are like I was thinking the other day, you know that Emperor's Shield, right? So when you're playing Trickster and you use that shield, the stuff that you don't block actually doesn't hurt your ES, so you get to keep that freaking spell suppression buff like up all the time. So you're like mitigating extra damage when you don't block, and when you do block, you're mitigating, like 35%. So either way, you're just like mitigating damage, right? Or more damage from spells. And it's like interactions like that you don't really even think about sometimes, right? Or most people don't think about, but it's actually a pretty good interaction.
I feel like the shield is so overtuned compared to theirs. It's gonna be the first thing that gets nerfed.
It has so much armor and ES
It's
randomly.
2k armor, 400 ES almost. Like there's no way that stays.
What shield is this?
It's the glancing blow shield.
Yeah. They buffed it to like 2000 armor and 400 ES. So so if you're playing like Shield Crush with it, you get a mass amounts of like multi if you have the gem. And
Yeah, I think it's like equivalent to full T1s when you could like craft stat plus quality as well or something, was what somebody said,
yeah.
essentially, is how much it has.
I mean, it cannot hit 400 ES, but it's like 380 or 390 and then
All
1900
right,
armor.
397, 400, same shit, different toilet, dude.
Dude,
It's like 3 ES.
you guys need to realize how big perfection is on that item, by the way. It's literally 20% in PoB between the worst and the best roll, just on perfection, nothing else. Because it doesn't like actually roll on the item, but like the innate perfection does 20% difference on the PoB I had. And PoB always
Sacred Orb
assumes
stocks.
100%. So I think people are gonna be surprised when. I mean, it's still like way better than Shield Crush has been. Because the shield just does way more damage than anything else.
Still an insane item for. It has pretty cool interactions too with Trickster. I like it.
I
On the
hate
other
the
classes?
downside.
Hmm?
I'm too dumb to understand how this is good. Like, and how to use it with Trickster and like make it good.
Well, like, so, like, you have, with that shield, you have glancing, right? So you have like 50% spell block, right? So half the time you like if you don't block, right, you're gonna be full ES, right? Because it's gonna go through ES. So you're gonna get the Trickster bonus from the
10% bonus suppression for fully is.
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then when you do block, you're gonna get the 35% from glancing. So either way, you just have huge damage reduction for every spell that hits you.
I mean, that shield is just good for like anything when it comes to like shield skills. It's like way too over budgeted on the stats. Surprised
because it's-
they hate when weapons have the best stats in the game, right? Compared to rares. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, because when you're like using a normal shield, right? I guess the first hit for a Trickster, you still get the damage mitigation, but this thing literally just gives you mitigation all the time, basically. And most shields you don't get spell block, right, with glancing immediately, so or for free, especially on that side. I think it's really good. And the armor is insane. And the ES is insane. What about damage? You don't get damage with that thing.
I think this would be a good time to end it, honestly. I mean, we went for like 3.5 hours. I thought we would go for like an hour and a half or two. So ended up talking for a lot longer. I hope you guys don't mind that we streamed for so long. Is any one of you gonna continue streaming or like start a stream after?
No, I'm not today.
I still have to make a filter, which I hate doing.
Just do it on stream, dude.
Can't do that. I'll get flamed for using Notepad without dark mode.
Oh no. Waggle, you gonna stream?
Not immediately after, no. I gotta get some food.
And yeah, thanks everyone for participating. It was fun talking to you guys. And I don't know if you guys would be interested in ever doing more podcasts in the future or whatever. We can just talk about it after the podcast, like in the Discord or whatever. Any ideas, any changes? If you aren't interested in doing more, that's fine. But probably will be doing some more in the future. Probably just when there's something to talk about, like maybe after Gauntlet and something like that, or maybe before Gauntlet.
I'll
We'll
be
talk
down
about
probably.
it.
I think it's an interesting perspective from hearing from you guys, so
All right. I gotta go get some dinner. Have fun. Take
Yeah.
care.
Thanks for being here.
same.
See you, dude.
Bye guys. I'll see you guys next time.
Real voice, guys. Real voice.
See ya.